That hurt.
Then what is this thing?
Gio should never play for U.S. men's national team again because of the action of his parents.
What an idiot! Oh!
What type of Muppet does this?
It's Muppets. Absolute Muppets.
I'm not going to be the best person to give a whole explanation here, but that's...
Booty! Sig! Booty!
Fucking deal with it. What are we really doing?
Yeah, I can agree with that. A zebra in between a tarantula and an elephant.
Has been nothing more than a sham.
Yeah, we didn't play well, but you know what? At the end of the day, we got the job done.
It's going to be a good time for sure.
Oh, sex with the first cousin would indeed be incest. And
welcome to the Straight Red Card. Brett coming to you live from Wiener Cutoff Road. It's not the best name for a road. I gotta say.
There's a road that going to my sister's house when they used to live in Greenwood was called Row Road.
Row Road.
So it's like, it's Row Road.
Row
Road.
Oh, sorry.
Make sure you turn down Row Road.
Welcome to Straight Red Card. I am sick. I'll just tell everybody that now. I've been in bed almost all day. I crawled out of bed to do this show. Mm-hmm. So if I'm a little slower than usual, that's why. By the way, I heard it could be that you're not allowed to do the show anymore, Brett, because of something your parents did. I don't know what your parents did. That was horrible, but apparently they did something bad. So you're not allowed to be on YouTube anymore.
What?
I'm drawing a correlation to that idiot who said that Reyna's not allowed to play for the U.S. men's national team. That's what his parents did.
So lost where you're going with that. Okay, so we're gonna get to your sickness here in a second. But
okay.
To that point.
You're like, what are you talking about?
I'm so lost. Well, my son's at school. My son's in third grade, guys. My son's at school. And he's telling all his friends. He goes, "My dad is a YouTuber.
Oh no,
not a famous YouTuber, but he's a YouTuber nonetheless." And they're like, "No, he's not. He's not a YouTuber." Oh no. Yeah, all you have to do is search up Straight Red Card. I'm like, no, don't tell those 8 or 9 year old people look up our show.
Oh no, you can lose your fucking job or something.
Oh my God, I'm gonna get a phone call soon.
Oh my God, that's crazy. I know. That's God. Like at work. It's like people are like, "Oh yeah, I heard you had a soccer show," and I'm like, "Yeah, don't go watch it. Do not watch my show."
I always tell people at work, I'm like, "Dude, it's not safe for work. So if you do it, have headphones on."
Yeah, and just be
ready.
ready.
What's incest?
Just be ready for some crass humor on occasion. Yeah, so it's a little nerve wracking that somebody will find it, and yeah, but got past that at this point. Well, I mean, 90% of the shows are clean, and if you're not a soccer fan, 100% of the topics that are soccer related will bore you to death because you don't care about soccer. So if you don't care about soccer, the only reason you come for the fluff section. And I'm
not going to get in trouble. Parents, this is up to you to actually pay attention to what your kids are watching on YouTube.
Right.
They should 8, 9-year-olds should not be watching the Straight Red Card. We just don't have the content for them.
Oh, well, we've had people tell us, I was watching the show and I forgot to put my headphones on and my daughter was in the room and I like, yes, it's after about the fourth fuck. I made sure that I put my headphones on because I knew there's no way the show would be appropriate.
I'll have that issue once.
For a 7-year-old. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so crazy stuff. I'm sick. I did watch the Asia Cup as well this weekend, but one thing that stood out more than the games, which were fun, Korea, Australia, pretty fun, were the national anthems. Now, I'm not saying U.S. has a great national anthem, okay? Because
it's phenomenal. What are you talking about?
Well, people have debated over the years, should it be the other one? America the Beautiful? Is that the other option? What's the one everybody argues? Yeah, we should have that one instead. America, America, God shed his grace on thee.
No.
But I have to say, listening to, all right, first of all, Jordan has the best one because it's 40 seconds long. Literally it started and it ended. And I'm like, what? That's all? Why can't all national Why can't all national anthems be 40 seconds long? It was amazing. Now that's class. The only problem is most of them, if you listen to them, I later went back and listened to, and that's maybe what made me sick, the versions on YouTube. If you listen to the instrumental versions, they're fine. But the ones with the singing are horrible. The Qatar one, the Kazakhstani one, I mean, even the Jordanian one with lyrics, they sound like shit. They really do. So if they take the lyrics off, they're fine. You put the lyrics on, and I think that goes for
our national anthem lyrics kick ass.
Yeah, they're not horrible, but it isn't the French national anthem, right? Dun 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 dun.
You're likely to get your head cut off there. So.
Love, 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 love. Sorry,
I think that's the English one.
No, that is it. They use it as "All You Need Is Love" by the Beatles. Uses the French national anthem as its intro. So hopefully, am I pixelating? No,
not really. I mean, a little bit. I mean, no more than usual. I mean, your kitchen's coming in bright and clear.
Well, just a little bit here on my shoulder, right?
It was big, yeah.
Yeah. Jack Beneda says, yes, the thoughts of all the fond memories of Derek are within my mind, ass to mouth. Did you just say at the moment? I know ATM means at the moment, but in porn terms, it does mean ass to mouth. Jordan Morris's dog. Did Derek get finger herpes? No, I can't do that. Stroking my own. All right, because I'm clean. Jack Pineda. Maybe Derek caught something from his first cousin. My first cousin is actually in Germany. Her name is Christina. She's probably 5 years older than me, 6 years older than me. And she's married. So that's not going to happen.
He doesn't need to know. She doesn't need to know?
It's she. Yeah, it's she.
No, it's her significant other.
Oh, I also have a first cousin in Germany named Sebastian. Can't remember their last name because their dad is Klaus and he got divorced with them, my aunt. So I don't know what their last name is. It's not Volrath, which is my mom's maiden name. The turd in the background says, "Welcome back to the Straight Red Card, the only soccer show that willingly discussed stepsister relations. Great weekend for those yanking it abroad." My wife blew Infantino yesterday. Oh my God. You know, that is a crazy last name. Infantino. That's like means that you're a baby, right? That's what that name means. Small little baby or something like that in Italian. Like, what if your name was literally on the back of your jersey? You play football, your name was small baby on the back. Tiny baby. Infantino. I don't know. Maybe it has something to do with infinity. I don't know. No, it doesn't. Infinity. Yeah.
It's all about baby.
It's Infantino means small baby. I think.
Little baby.
Little baby on the back of your jersey. Little baby.
Little baby.
That's kind of like, remember Boca Negra, which just means blackhead in Spanish. Literally, his name is Blackhead. Fumar Mota. Hit like, fellows. Help the algorithm. Yes, we like that.
Hey, and we've also noticed, looking at our analytics, that 30% of you guys aren't subscribed to us yet. Consistently, it's consistent. Every show, every episode.
That's crazy. Thinking of that.
30%.
And we also are getting a lot of good feedback from the people who they clipped out parts of the show. People that, like me, look at a show and go, 2 hours?
2 hours.
I'm fucking watching that. All right.
In comparison, I look at 2 hours and I go, ooh, something I can do for the first 2 hours of work tomorrow. Nice.
That's true. You can just plop it on your headphone. Or if you got a hour-long drive to work and an hour back, you can get the whole show in.
Yeah.
Also noticed, I was watching our show and watching the part about goalies. And the one thing we didn't bring up about how we're not preparing our goalies is, you remember the Tab Ramos interview with Pete? And Tab said for like 2 years, he was trying to get a goalkeeper coach, but US Soccer wouldn't let him hire one for the youth teams. He's like, it was crazy. He said, I don't know anything about goalkeeping. They wouldn't let me hire a fucking goalkeeping coach.
At the minimum, they should hire a goalkeeping coach for all the youth teams. It's not like they have the U17s and U20s have opposing, camps, Yeah, I'm sure the goalkeeper coach can travel around, especially the U17s, and then, when the U20s and U23s have a camp, he goes over there and works with them.
Right.
I don't know.
Anyhow,
times, guys.
It was different times. They fixed that now.
Now we have 42 assistant coaches at the national team level.
Yeah, we do. They overkilled it now, but it's better to have too much than too little. Yeah. Fun fact! If I were a woman, which clearly I'm not, I'd be a lesbian.
But the fun fact: what, you're going to be a lesbian?
No, fun fact: if I were a woman, I'd be a lesbian.
Oh,
do you ever think about that?
No.
Okay. All right. Well, that's good. Even though I'm finding this whole food and everything extremely fascinating, really just fascinating. Women with big boobs, but a giant phallus. Like, that's such a weird thing to have like a fascination about. And here I am admitting it, but I don't know.
You're confused at why you got an erection watching it?
No, I just don't know who the first guy who ever came up with it. You know what I'd really like? A big woman with curvy woman, all woman breasts, but a large phallus and balls, and maybe a vagina and an asshole. Like, that's a lot of shit going on down there.
Trifecta.
I mean, that's a lot of stuff going on down there. Anyhow, weird stuff. I'll leave that to the Japanese. Speaking of that, they won as well. So come for soccer, stay for the boob talk. Actually, I think technically we talked about the phallus, although I did mention the word breasts. That's true. Joey, what's up? Soft ass Redditors, if you're hate watching. What's up, soft ass Redditors, if you're hate watching?
Yeah, that was the big thing when we mentioned that 30% of our views are not subscribed. But there's like a lot of hate watchers, if you ask me. But you know what? We get like a 99% like ratio on our likes. I mean, I feel like if there were 30% of you guys out there that hated us, we'd have a lot more dislikes. Don't dislike. You can dislike. I don't care.
It doesn't really matter because it doesn't hurt the algorithm at all to get disliked.
It actually helps our algorithm regardless of whether you dislike it or like it.
Right. And we never check
something. Do something out there, guys. Come on.
We never checked that anyhow. I did read an article about the Saudi Pro League and how it's already kind of fallen apart. Like the stadiums are fucking
in Miami.
Even that, yeah. Well, that's embarrassing, and you'll get to that. But the stadiums are even less full this season than they were the season before, which is crazy since they got all these big. I usually hit the dislike button.
So you're the one.
You're the one dude consistently hit the dislike button. The one guy on every show. Anyhow, it seems that all these great magical players aren't really attracting any more fans in Saudi Arabia. And then I was thinking about it.
No, you don't.
So many people. How far would you have to drive in some cases?
You skipped the obvious joke there, but okay.
Oh, you were going to make a camel joke.
Yeah, I was going to make a camel joke. Yeah. Damn it, I missed another game. Fuck it.
We have to start the camel ride at 5 a.m. to get there by 5 p.m. for the game. That's a fucking 10-hour camel ride. But yeah, you look at the geography of Saudi Arabia, it's so spread out that, if some cases, if your favorite team could be like 3 hours away, or if a camel ride, it could be up to 10 hours away, 12 hours away. So maybe that didn't help. And then the TV ratings have been pretty piss poor. So I guess, and then the players all want to leave now after getting paid for 1 year.
Well, I'm maybe mixing up countries here, but does Saudi Arabia have like a large population of like nomadic tribes that go around and like they have the massive tents that they set up and everything like that?
Not like they do in North Africa and places in North Africa.
That might be what I'm thinking of.
You're probably thinking of like Tunisia. I think
I was gonna make the joke. that there's one TV for like 30 people. So I mean, of course, TV ratings are going to suck, but
I think they're doing all right.
I'm mixing up.
Yeah, they're definitely all have TVs in Saudi Arabia. All right.
Yeah, when the U.S. men's national team game comes on, I turn it on all 5 different TVs I got in my house just to get the ratings up.
That's just crazy. I don't think it works that way.
It doesn't work.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't work that way at all.
There seems to be 5 TVs in this one house watching this game, so that's 5 people clearly.
By the way, if you are not if you have not been contacted by the organization that keeps those ratings, by the way, and you don't have one of their little boxes connected to your TV that tells them what you're watching, that's actually how they do it. And then they do it by percentage. So they usually get probably 100,000 people a year in the United States or more to put these tiny little boxes on their TV so they can track what they watch. And then they just use those numbers and assume that's the national percentage. And then they use the math to get the actual number of how many people watch.
Rating, isn't it?
Nelson, that's right. Yeah. Nelson TV ratings. So if you don't have a little box, my dad was like, oh, they can't track me. I'm like, no, Dad, you have to have the Nelson rating box on your fucking TV. I mean, if people can follow everything that you watch, I mean, you're pretty much busted with the Playboy channel. So, you know, come on.
What they don't tell you is there's also a microphone in each one of those boxes so they can listen to what you're saying.
Oh, yeah. There's a microphone. Yeah. And they, especially if you're watching like Penthouse or a Playboy channel, they got that marked down.
Hey, Bob, can you listen to this audio? Flap, 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 flap. What is he doing?
Or this one, fap. All right. Fumar Mota says, you're trolling, but American players would save the Saudi league. You're trolling? We're trolling? Or somebody else is trolling?
So we're trolling, but American players would save the Saudi league. And here's why. I don't think he was necessarily making a jump to this conclusion, but this worked out so perfectly that I wanted to bring it up. Thanks, Fumar. Appreciate that.
For some reason, Tack says, by the way, Tack will be here Thursday. We're going to talk about his red flags for Gio Reyna.
Yeah, we're going to lay into him, all right.
We're gonna hit him right in the kisser. All right. For some reason, every team in Europe that has an American player has to compulsively to treat him on social media as if he is a mascot.
Derek, why could that be? I mean, I know Tack knows why, but why could that be, Derek?
Who are we talking about? I don't really.
I mean, if you're on the social medias and you're seeing a team that has an American player, you're seeing a lot of posts about the player. Like you're seeing a lot of stuff about Pulisic. You're seeing a lot of stuff about Weah.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
On the social medias, it's always just parroted out like, but why are they doing that?
Market. They're trying to build their market. Yeah.
And I don't know if this one or not. Yank, you know what? It's one of the quote tweets. Hold on, let me pull it up because this is as much as I've been calling Yanks abroad out for his poor trolling recently. Good Lord.
It's been bad.
It's been bad, but this one here, this is why right here. This is why they're social media phenoms.
Yeah, the number of Milan jerseys sold has increased by 75% compared to the standard equivalent period. In the United States, sales increase has been 713%, and Milan jerseys sales in U.S. have risen from 9 to 43% of total sales, according to the club. Customized Pulisic jerseys account for 45% of all. Yeah, that makes total sense. Although, you know, I know how it actually makes sense in math, but this whole thing going 713%. It's like, I gave it 713% today. Really? How's that possible? You only can go to 100. I know the way the math works.
Thank you. I was going to say, I know you're an English major and all, but I have to correct you on the math on that front. I mean,
I know it works.
Basic math. I think my son could come down here and tell you how to do it, Derek, if you want.
Well, I'm just saying, you know, people come out all the time. You know, we came out, man, we gave it 110%. Well, why didn't you give it 173%?
I want 130%. Come on. We still lost, guys. Come on.
You fucking suck.
But yeah, so, I mean, to that point, you know, why are they being mascotted about on social media? It's because we've got an enormous market here. Huge. Yep. And you know what? We're happy to you and I are prime examples. We're happy to follow our players to any club. We were watching Chelsea a year ago.
You were watching Leeds last season.
We were watching Leeds last
Who
season.
I'm still tracking, by the way.
And that feels like so long ago, though. I'm like,
hey, man.
Was that last season?
They're working on promotion, dude. It looks like it could happen. And,
Sargent keeps shooting the way he's shooting. Norwich is going to be fighting for promotion.
They got some work to do. They need to start stringing. They need to string some wins together. Now, with Sargent being there, that's going to obviously help. And we'll get to his goal, which was nice. I like those sort of optimism. I mean, was just inside the box or just outside? I think it's just his goal, Sargent's goal, like 15
right
feet?
around like in between the 6 and the PK, in between there.
That's what I thought, just inside. Yeah, okay. Yeah, no, but a good goal. Couldn't watch the fucking game. Why? Because ESPN carried some shit. They carried the Preston North End game, so I could watch 10 minutes of Dwayne Holmes at the end of the game. Is that why they had Preston on this weekend? No one cares. ESPN play Norwich, or play somebody with an American player on it.
I feel like ESPN has to sit there. Somebody at ESPN has to sit there and like, hey, maybe we should show more of the games with like teams that have American players. I mean,
you would think someone would be thinking that.
Haji Wright's in there.
Coventry City would be good.
Let's shuffle those 3 teams.
Yep, I agree. Otherwise, who really wants to watch Preston North End against?
Hey, there might be 3 players in Omaha, or not players, sorry, 3 people in Omaha who are, Preston North End fans.
Yeah, right. I want to watch the Millwall game. That's what I'm looking for. Yeah. All right. Go ahead. You got stuff?
I've got stuff. Sure.
Stuff. All right. This is why you don't dream kids. No, you don't dream kids. Hold on. Okay. This is
he's telling the kids. This is why you don't dream.
I get it. But I'm
not saying you don't dream of kids.
No, that's what I was saying. Because you go to jail, motherfucker. All right. This is my dream 2 to 3 years ago from now for the U.S. men's national team.
And this was also in March of 2022.
22. Okay.
So here's one.
Or 2 years ago. Okay. That's never going to happen.
He's at a club that has a historic or a massive history, just like Barcelona. But they're not as good as Barcelona. But
I mean, listen, if you would have said that to me 10, 15 years ago, I would have been like, yeah, AC Milan. They are huge. They're a huge player. They're still big because of their name, but they are like 10 years ago, AC Milan. 15 years ago, AC Milan.
Yeah, but I feel like even when we compare like clubs or leagues where like, oh geez, Germany, Bayern's going to win, not this year per se, but Bayern's going to win again. Okay, well, Scotland's got 2 teams. Who's going to win that? Thing. At least in Serie A, I mean, you have the big 3. You have Inter, you have AC, you have Juventus, but then you also have outliers like
Roma, Fiorentina,
always up there. Fiorentina, yeah. So you have contenders at least. So every season,
I agree.
Well, while it's predominantly still Juve, AC, and Inter, as far as going back to the history, at least there's always people. I mean, Napoli's won it a couple years recently.
It's entertaining.
So Barcelona, you got Barcelona, you have Real Madrid, and you got what, Atletico Madrid as far as contenders consistently.
I mean, there have been years when Sevilla popped out, Girona popped up right now. Yeah. But I'm not worried about so much the competitiveness within the interleague competitiveness, because I think for me, the Italian leagues, if you're looking at it for inter-competitive, it's great. I love it. I love the balance there, that there are teams that can pop up like they did this weekend. Well, that was Inter and bite Juventus in the ass. But I'm talking about the league as itself is not what it was 10, 15 years ago. That's all I'm saying. When it had some big teams that were really big and had the biggest players in the world. But that's down also to domestically the Italian players in the Italian league. There being fewer of them and not being the best players in the league for the most part. Like we've seen it. We've seen the sort of mild demise of the Italian national team and a big concern in Italy about player development and youth development. We're seeing that in Germany now. So it isn't Oh, that's all I'm saying. It's not
Mhm.
the Serie A of 15 years ago when it was
Sure.
booming. Don't call AC Milan AC. That's just wrong.
Juve fan for a couple decades here. I don't care. If they're offended by it, yeah, okay.
Yeah, I guess we all have our peculiar needs, and that's his need. I didn't say it, did I? Or you?
Well, I said AC.
Okay.
I said Inter and then AC because I'm just shorting down the Milan bros.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, this didn't happen. No publicity. I mean, listen, this is 2 years ago. He said this, and he was really struggling at Chelsea. So I don't know how you can envision.
Man, I don't know. I mean, yeah, he had some struggling moments here, but he was still one of the, as much as people like to bitch about him there, but he was still one of the more productive players per 90.
God, though,
Chelsea.
he would go to Barcelona and he would have to battle his balls off to start. Like, there's good players on that team. Not
Sure,
that there
don't disagree.
not that there aren't at AC Milan, but I mean, the competition would be fierce. And then he'd have to be under Xavi. Fuck that guy. All right. What's this next one? That was the talk back in the days.
We're
right?
still getting that talk, right? Our good friend Simon asked us about this. Hey, I thought he was going to Real Madrid.
Yeah, I always thought that was a little bit of a pipe dream, but I didn't think it was impossible. I think, had he stayed on the same trajectory, he could have gone, I suppose, to Real Madrid.
With how well he was performing prior to his muscle injury.
Yeah.
And then when he came back and finally recovered from it, and he was still performing as a super sub for Terzic, I mean, he could have still. I mean, Bellingham was there. He could have.
It's possible. There are a lot of other teams with big money, though, too. They're not the only teams with big money.
100%.
So,
I mean, obviously, there's a lot of talk, and the injury played a factor. And a lot of big teams are going to be hesitant at this point. They want to see what's going to happen. Hopefully, this 6-month loan at Forest, and we'll go over this as one of our main topics here. But hopefully, the 6 month is productive for him. Playing well. And I don't want to dive too much into that topic until we get to there. So I'm not going to do. So.
Yeah, I get it. Shocker, he didn't break his leg this weekend. Nope. He didn't pull a hammy either. Yep.
We don't know, man. He'll go back to practice on Monday or Tuesday, I guess. Now
they had the ambulances right there
at the door. Yeah, I was like, we heard about this kid.
The wind blew, and he somehow, like Brendan Aaronson, ended up on the
Thank goodness
grass.
he only got about 15 minutes because otherwise
he definitely was going to pull something. It was
leg falling right off.
He was going to snap something, some tendon. Yeah, you know what? This is looking like it. McKennie could do that. I mean, I think he could. He's just been goddamn even this weekend.
If he goes to Liverpool and plays in a position that benefits him, that'd be one thing.
Yeah,
but if you go to the EPL and play in a position that doesn't benefit you, then no, it's not going to help you.
Yeah, people are going to say, "What about Leeds, dude? He couldn't do it there." Leeds sucked. He was asked to be the superstar of a team that had a bunch of injuries and they were sucking, and they were on their third or fourth coach.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I mean, say what you will. I don't think that's a fair representation of McKennie. What we are seeing right now is the new McKennie, the new and improved, and he's a badass. And the great thing about watching that game, and I'm going to ruin this a little bit, is that his teammates they count on him. They look for him.
Okay.
The whole game they're looking for.
We're jumping the gun here too, because I noticed that when Weah comes in, there are times when they look at Weah and then they turn and try something else. Yeah. But whenever it's McKennie, it's always going to McKennie.
Yeah, absolutely. And he was asked late in that game when they really needed that goal to play, like to drift into the middle.
Mm-hmm.
And they would find him. And then when he would drift out wide, they do a switch ball to him because they know he can make a play. And he can get you the assist that you need. He can pass that cross in that's going to hit somebody right on the noggin. So he's kind of a playmaker now, which is a side of McKennie we didn't really see a whole lot. We saw a good working athletic player. Mm-hmm. Now we're seeing a technical side to him. Maybe he always had it, but didn't really allow himself to be as artistic as he is now.
And
So
it could
it's
be
exciting.
It could be something as simple as, he came to Juve and he was a workhorse, always pressuring, causing disruption whenever the other team has the ball. They make errant passes, Juve get the ball back, and they move forward.
Yeah.
I think he's come into his own right now where he's got the confidence because he not only takes on players, but he looks to make those 40-yard change of play passes.
Yep.
And it's a massive difference because it opens up the Juve's attack in the end.
And even though he's taking more chances, he's not really making many errors. He's not losing the ball.
I think this match against Center there were a couple of long ball errors.
Right.
But I mean, those were ones like the defender's like stretching, like head flicked away, type of thing.
Yeah.
It was like off by this much. So I mean, it was still there, but it wasn't.
But my point being that he doesn't feel afraid to make a mistake. Unlike our friend Matt Turner, who,
oopsies,
as we told you, he's going to lose his job pronto. Yeah.
I mean, they're going out buying a new goalkeeper, absolutely losing his job. Yeah.
Although they had 2 goalkeepers on the bench for the game, which was odd. Usually you don't waste one of your 18 for 2. They had Vlad and him on the bench. That was weird. All right.
Maybe the concern that, the keeper just literally flew in and, jumped onto the playing, pitch, I don't know. Al's asking, didn't Juve extend him? I don't think it's been anything's been signed yet. They've offered the extension. I think it was like 2.5 mil, and people will let us know that in Serie A they have a tendency of posting the post-tax salary more so than what you just be offered.
Right.
So 2.5 sounds small, but it might be an increase where he's at post taxes. So,
and I'm sure there are other benefits and incentives as well. Usually, if you get
going to Champions League next year, we're going to play you. Trust us.
Yes. If you play in Champions League, you get paid more. If you blah blah blah.
Oh no, BMR said they offered him a pay cut.
Well, they did technically, I believe.
I thought we got corrected. I thought somebody corrected us saying that the 2.5 is after taxes, and I thought that's what was the issue.
That's right.
We were announcing a pre-tax versus post-tax, but I don't know. Maybe we're announcing both post-tax, and we were right to begin with.
I don't know.
If they're offering a pay cut, then Weston's got to start fielding.
Hey, BMR, Mr. Noble, look it up.
Yeah.
Is that what we saw?
You expect us to know this shit?
Pre or post tax, because I mean that does make a difference. Taxes are not exactly light. He's not at Monaco. He's in Italy. So
I wonder if it is a pay cut. I wonder if they're offering him a pay cut. One, to either get him on the cheaper, not the cheaper, I guess, but cheaper, or 2, to encourage him to want to get a transfer, and then they can bank off of a solid season this year.
Have we heard any financial fair play rumors with Juve?
Not financial fair play, but they've been hurting on cash since COVID.
So maybe he's willing to take a pay cut. So to help the team.
Again, is the 3 point? This is what I thought too. But is the 3.2 post or pre? That's my question. I don't know.
We don't know, because the numbers you read in the Italian press tend to be after taxes. I don't know why they do it that way, but that's what they do. Okay, let's move on to the next guy.
Nope, next guy.
Oh my God, Water! You got to be smoking some serious hashish. Wow! And 2 years ago, that would have been based on his play at Red Bull Salzburg. So
that's fair. That's fair. Yeah,
I understand his enthusiasm, but since then it's been pretty much all downhill.
Is he better than Chuck?
Chuck Wasey?
Yeah.
I mean, the way Chuck Wasey's playing right now, he is. But I mean, I don't know. Chuck Wasey does provide you an actual occasional goal when you play him. So yeah, Chuck Wasey's better. Obviously, they don't. Aaron's.
We're getting to yours in a second.
Don't worry, Derek. I topped the stupid take kick. Apparently, Brett found whatever you're talking about.
Well, I didn't find it. He posted it, or someone posted it. Like, I always love going back through our old posts, and he's like, "What the fuck was I smoking?" But we'll see it in just a second. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. Look, if Leeds do get promoted, the question will be, will Aaronson want to go through a whole nother season with Leeds and the EPL, basically
That's kind of ironic.
falling on the grass? So that's what he does. He likes to fall on the ground. It's funny seeing old posts pop up on my timeline sometimes. Aaronson is above Serie A. He'll be marching on with Leeds. Well, that didn't last very long. I don't know if that's horrible take, Chris, because I think all of us were hopeful that with Marsh there, who was very familiar with Brendan, that we thought, and I do think Brendan's game does work better with Jesse Ball, all the pressing, the Gegen pressing. But I do think Brendan, and people say, well, he needs to hit the weights. And then somebody else said, well, actually what he needs to do is take yoga and learn how to balance himself, because there are a lot of other smaller, thinner players than Aaronson, and they don't fall down all the fucking time. So that's a good point. He needs to take some ballerina classes or whatever. Who was it? Lynn Swan used to take ballet classes for his balance. Lynn Swan, the famous wide receiver for the Steelers, and his teammates used to make fun of him for it, but he could dance the ballet. I think
Aaronson needs to do some Aikido, so where he learns how to use the other person's motion against him. Somebody goes in to muscle him off the ball, and he does this, and the guy flies that way.
You mean the force?
No, it's not the force. It's Aikido. So it's like
I know
it's the martial arts for samurai, basically.
I know what
the opponent's
Brett.
It was a joke. It
was a joke. I know Aikido's not the force, but the way you described it made it sound like he just went like that, and the guy flew away.
No.
But you know what? The force would help Aaronson. He would, if he could have the force.
He became a Jedi. That'd be pretty cool.
Well, there's only one Jedi on the team. Jack Pineda says, "Oh no, Brett, do you have the most recent Pete video?"
I do.
What happened this time? I'm sick. I haven't watched anything.
I didn't find out about this literally until about 3 minutes before the show. But I went and found it real quick.
Okay.
5-star dinner. So good to see that the banter is alive. Guys, this is not the straight red card. Maybe some of the more injury-prone players had emergency circumcisions because they had relations with their Jack, I appreciate the sponsorship of the channel, but those can be best appreciated by our friends over at the Straight Red Card. Tiago.
Oh my God, that is great. At some point, he's gonna text me and say, "You tell those motherfuckers to stop doing that."
Hey, he's making money.
He's making money.
Jack paid him $5 good American dollars.
Solid American dollars.
Say that shit. So
yeah.
You know what, Pete? You deserve a cut from that. I know you've already paid a third of it to Aunt Susan, the owner of YouTube and all. But we should get a cut of that too. We're sending all these great super chats your way.
And it fit in with your background so well. That question, wiener cut off. He got circumcision in there, and he got incest. It's amazing. Good job, Jack. Way to go, man. Woo, great. That is classic.
He did say at the very before the show even started, he said that Tak's going to be his next victim. So keep an eye out for that, guys, and let us know a timestamp when it happens.
Yeah. Timestamp it. We'll play it.
We'll play it Thursday when Tak's on our show.
That'll be awesome.
Oh, crikey.
I mean, I told Tak that he doesn't have to stay for the 2 hours. We can just come in, and he can come in for the.
He's gotta suck it up, man. Come on our show. You know how that shit rolls.
He's on the road right now, and I don't know.
That's a great point. He did say he was going to be here about the time when our show starts, so maybe he'll be here a little bit late.
He'll be tired, dude, because he'll be just getting off a plane. So I said it, dude. You'll be tired. You don't have to stay for the whole show.
Made move right there.
Well, listen, not everybody wants to be around us during our fluff section. They don't want to be associated with our incestual fluff section. So.
Derek, I think everybody wants to be a part of our flush session. You know?
Session. All right. Now section. All right. Way to go. I think we're stretching it on the all right, what's next?
Derek, let's get ready for your most favorite segment of the show.
Oh, all right.
Here comes starting right about now.
Transfer news. Everyone loves that transfer news, but me. All right, little DMX in the background. Could you hear me?
I heard you. Nice.
All right.
Even perfect.
Tom Selleck, Bogart. Don't bogart my joint, my friend. All right. That's from the Easy Rider soundtrack, by the way. Don't bogart my
BMR is asking us, how is there still transfer news? There's always transfer news.
Yeah. There is. Yeah. So Tom Bogart says, well, he says on the bottom, should I read the bottom? Breaking: Duncan Maguire's transfer to Blackburn is once again on the verge of collapse. Okay, we got that last time. And then he comes back and he says, can you scroll back up?
Hold on.
Blackburn made clerical error with the registration paperwork. Club is appealing. Maguire still in England. Oh, you got it.
So how this has worked out, they said, yes, we would like to sign him for X amount of dollars, $4 million. He gets on a plane, flies over. They say, nah, you know what? We don't want him. We're gonna nix this. Well, he's already on the plane. Okay, fine, we'll take him. Well, we screwed up on his clerical error on his registration and paperwork. Yeah.
So Orlando was the one that was trying to fuck the deal up before. Then Blackburn hired the guy that fucked up at Antwerp with Sam Vines to work for Blackburn, and now he's fucked Duncan Maguire up too.
It's such a great job. Why don't you come work for us?
Usually these clerical errors get fixed. So I'm thinking he'll be fine, but Tom says Blackburn expecting verdict on appeal of Duncan Maguire registration error by tomorrow night. We'll determine if deal goes through or not. Coincidentally, tomorrow is Maguire's 23rd birthday.
Happy birthday. You're going back to Orlando. Woo!
I don't think so. They usually, as long as it was an honest error, they let these things slide.
Sure.
They let him slide. So he should be fine. It will ruin the little clip I was going to use because the next clip was going to put up from the last show was we're going to
do it. Post it anyways, man. Post it anyways.
Now, if he's flying on a plane, he can't.
Here's what we do. You take that segment and you clip this tiny little segment, throw it at the end.
He can't be Brian McBride if Maguire is in Orlando because remember, who did McBride start with? Preston North End, and then he went to Everton, and then he went to Germany, and then he finally ended up at Fulham. So he bounced all over.
He ended up at Columbus before he went to Fulham.
Yeah, in between there, he went back to MLS. All in between those stints.
Yeah, who was there with Germany? Leverkusen? Or was that Donovan?
No.
That was Donovan.
God, who was he with in Germany? Wolfsburg.
Thank you.
Man, my brain still works, and I'm sick. It's amazing. Holy crap.
Some little section of your brain back here popped up, and it's like, Wolfsburg.
Yeah, it's crazy how I remember some things, and then I can't even remember my own fucking name the next.
Scorpion Larry had it, too.
Scorpion Larry.
He was in 2 Bundesliga rookie year.
So what I'm saying is Maguire could start from the championship, the second level, and if he can pull up a McBride by just being in the right place at the right time and scoring lots of goals, he can end up in the Premier League. It's possible.
Sure, it's always possible.
And he don't have. And my point on the show I was going to clip and play is I disagreed with Pete, and I said, okay, I don't disagree with Pete. I don't think that Duncan Maguire is the most talented, technically gifted player, but so what? McBride wasn't either. That's my point.
Yep.
You just need to score goals. That's all.
That's still a fine topic to have. I mean, quite frankly, it doesn't matter if he does go to Blackburn in the end anyways.
I mean, there were prolific scorers in the Premier League who were not gifted either with physical skills or necessarily overwhelming technical skills. I'm thinking of the guy who played until he was like 44, Teddy Sheringham. But Sheringham just knew where to be to put the goals in. That's why he played for so long. even when his physical attributes declined demonstrably, he was just a goal scorer. So people wanted Teddy Sheringham on the team. How in the hell do I remember Teddy Sheringham?
Larry, you cut out making up these fake accusations.
Brett still doesn't know about El Loco.
Stop it. Just stop it.
All right. CONCACAF Wonder Kid. Sources Serbian top flight side. This guy again, FK Novi Pazar is signing American winger Luciano Sanchez, 18, per Tom Selleck Bogert that joint. My friend, Philadelphia is wanted to sign him earlier, but his rights, which are owned by New York Red Bulls, were too expensive. We'll sign a first-team deal and begin with the second team. That's fine. He'll drift into the background. We'll probably forget about him for a while. We'll see what happens.
This does take us to a point that we've made multiple times. I hate the academy rights location. You know, like the zonal location that you have to scout players.
Yes, stupid.
I hate that. Discovery, that's not Discovery. It's, whatever it's called, whatever the rights are for the academy. Usually it's like a 75-mile radius, but it's obviously some clubs can't do that. Like you talk about the LA clubs, they can't do that because it would be the same 75 miles.
Exactly.
But it's stupid saying like, oh, well, New York has rights to this kid, unless he's part of New York's academy, which is possible. He could have been. If he was, then yes. Then I don't care if the rights were too expensive for Philly to sign. But if it's just because he was in the 75-mile or whatever the radius is of New York Red Bulls, then I think that's stupid.
I think it is stupid, especially when you got all those Northeastern teams clogged up there on top of each other. New England, Philadelphia, DC, New York. I mean, all of those are a hop, skip, and a jump away from each other. So just say, hey, you know what? The whole New England area is up for grabs. Go for it.
It's stupid because at this point, again, just open it up.
Yeah.
LAFC and New York City and Miami are not going to be able to pay and buy out all the promising players in the academy levels. And plus, not every family in the Midwest is going to want to ship their kid off to the coast because they might stand a chance of getting a senior contract.
Well, at the very least, instead of having this miles radius thing, let's just say you can make it into regions. So in the Northeastern region, you've got DC, NYFC, Red Bull, New England, and whoever I'm missing here, all in the same bucket, like the whole New England area, they're all competing for those players. At least let's start there instead of having this radius of miles bullshit.
And what if obviously there's obviously the point that if you're in a big city like New York or LA, there's obviously a glutton of people there. And the odds that you're going to have an abundance of quality players at a specific position that maybe a team like Columbus might want to scout and pull in somebody, but maybe LAFC and LA Galaxy are sitting there like, well, we already have 3 different right wingers, for this position, so we're not interested in signing you. Columbus can jump in there and say, hey, we're interested.
Yeah,
there's a void of right wingers here in Columbus. Let's bring you over, buddy.
And they won't have to worry about this expensive signing rights horseshit.
We want $125,000 for this guy we have rights to, but we have no intention of signing for him. Well, fuck off.
Yeah. Now he's off to Serbia, where he's going to play for the second team at Novi Pazar. He's 18. He should not be playing on the second team. He's going to start there, I guess.
Hopefully, way up quickly. But yeah.
God, at 18, he should be popping straight to the first team in Serbia if he's as good as advertised. All right. So.
He's signing with the first team, starting with the second team. So maybe they just want him to get accustomed to the area.
I guess I get him accustomed straight to the first team. He's 18.
Throw him in the deep end.
He's not 16. He's not 17. He's 18. He's got hair on his nuts. He's ready to go. All right, what else we got? Turner to MLS. Not right away, but could happen. I mean, he was more likely to end up in the championship next season, would be my guess. Somewhere in the
I said that he's a backup to the EPL side of this point because he was a starter prior to this new signing. So unless an MLS site comes knocking at the door and offers Forest the same amount that they paid for Arsenal or paid Arsenal for him, then it's not going to happen. That's just my take.
Yeah, I mean, somebody might
him
be
out, sure, but
I mean, Howard being the exception, and maybe there's some other ones, Guzan, but we don't tend to focus on using big money. I mean, Stefan is not a DP, so it would have to be a deal like that where he would come back and he would not be a DP. He would not take up a significant amount of the cap, and he'd be coming back solely to play. And
but the transfer goes against that though. You'd still be a DP by paying that transfer, so you're still fucked.
Yeah,
unless you're willing,
exactly.
unless there's a team that's willing to, and it's never going to happen because there's enough adequate, good shot stoppers out there.
Right.
At all these MLS clubs, they're nothing special by any means, but they're adequately enough that they don't have to sit there and fork over $8 million transfer to bring over Turner. It's not going to happen.
And teams that have signed DPs as goalies, by the way, that's stupid.
Yeah,
it's stupid. Yeah,
it's not going to happen.
Dumb because your goalie is never going to make up for losing that DP spot for an outfield player who's going to have much more impact on the game than the 2 saves you made that were amazing during the game. All right, what else we got?
Hold on. Larry's asking how much Stefan got. I quickly got to just pull it up here real quick.
All right, no, that's fine. It's not DP money. That's all I knew at the time. And it sometimes takes MLS.
He moved over to Colorado on a free transfer.
Yeah, it's free. It was free, but we don't know what his salary is, I guess.
Sure. I mean, I imagine it's going to be gam-tam down, if anything.
Maybe. I don't know.
He's not getting DP money. I guarantee you that.
No, he's not getting. That was in the actual announcement that he was not getting DP money. No, because that'd be stupid. And then they were bringing Sam Vines back, so they need to pay Sam Vines, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And they got another player they brought in that they need to pay for. So, yeah. All right. The Inter Miami's burner account. Okay. Inter Miami was paid to play in Hong Kong, and that's exactly what they did. The issues here are with Hong Kong and the event organizers that receive subsidies to put this match on. Players get injured. That's part of sports. The event organizers took a risk, and it didn't pay off. That's because what? Messi's not playing? Demand answers for Lionel Messi, no show. Did they lose again?
Well, I have no idea, but Messi didn't play. And I guarantee you the reason why they went to Hong Kong to play against insert team here is because Messi.
Well,
why would they sit there and say, "Hey, Inter Miami, please come play us"?
I'm sure they played the Vampire though. So, yeah, I'm sure they did. And they were like, "Well, hey, man, we gave you Suarez.
Yeah.
Are you not entertained?
You're welcome.
We gave you the other former Barcelona players too. Are you not entertained?"
Pineda says they lost. God,
how bad did they lose? Anybody know?
So bad.
Was it
No,
embarrassing?
never mind. Laverdad said they won.
They won. Laverdad.
But I mean, Laverdad.
Laverdad. Yeah, Laverdad sounds bad. Yeah.
Oh, Polar's saying 4-1. I just gotta go look now.
Come on, guys! Don't feed us bullshit.
They won 4-1 against Hong Kong 11. You can't take the 11 name. That's our name.
No, it's Hong Kong's all-star team. They do it all the time.
It says 11.
No, I know, but that's what they name their all-star team for the league. The Hong Kong 11. Yeah. So we beat their all-stars 4-1. Okay, great. I mean, thank God. Nobody watched it because I think it was not broadcast in the United States, but I don't know. Maybe it was. Maybe it was on the MLS feed. What are they on now? MLS broadcast.
They're Apple.
Apple, thank you, Apple TV. Although no need to actually advertise for them, but I just thought
I don't know if these games are on Apple at all. Actually, I know the first 2 preseasons for Chicago Fire weren't broadcast at all, and it took a massive amount of social media pressure for them to even give us an update for the second game as the game was going on. Like, we didn't get an update for the first game until like 48 hours after it. I'm like, what the fuck, guys?
Yeah.
How hard is it to jump on your Twitter account and say, hey, we won this amount by this amount, and these people got goals? How hard is it to do that?
It isn't. You know what?
So Hong Kong's pissed off that Messi wasn't included in the actual match that they were hoping that Messi would be playing in. And I see Suarez right next to him, actually.
So maybe he didn't play either. Yikes. Well, in that case, they got fucked. You got
fucked, guys. I'm going to pull the lineup just to take a look real quick.
You know, Brett, the more I look at this photo in my background, frighteningly, the more and more I do look like Butthead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brett did a good job. I think it was Brett, right? Was it Brett? Got him, Brett?
Yeah.
I think he did. It wasn't me drawing it, guys, by the way. You've seen my art.
Yeah, I have to look that up. No, the guy he's the actual real designer that designed our logos, designed our shirts. I'm not wearing our shirt tonight. By the way, we never mentioned it. We do have this Red Card apparel. If you go down, there's a link. You'll find it in the description section. That place. Some bad answer, guys. Trust me, and it's high quality. High quality. We actually, and if you post yourself at a game wearing it, we will share your photo here on, and we've done that so far with people wearing our shirts at games. U.S. soccer games, the last one, I believe. Yeah, okay. So, wow. Yeah, that's pretty underwhelming. If you are there to see who then? Gressel?
Woo! Yes.
I'm sure some of these guys played the second half, right?
Let's see.
So Busquets came in. Jordi Alba came in.
Suarez didn't play. Messi didn't play.
Wow. Israel Ramon Boatwright De La. I mean, his name's so fucking long, they couldn't fit it on there.
That should be enough for them, right? They got him playing.
God.
Like 5 players in one.
I mean, there should be like some sort of like limitation on how long your fucking name can be.
Wait, what's the red arrows? What are the red arrows here?
They had herpes and had to come off.
Off the bench, apparently.
Yeah, that's
maybe
weird.
It just meant that they didn't play at all, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, that is weird. They were thrown out of the stadium.
But everybody else on the other team got to play.
Hey, look, Lewis Gill. See Gill? Right there with the red, the first red on the left.
That Gill, huh?
I know that's not Lewis Gill. I don't know where he is. I haven't checked lately.
Maybe it is. We'll chance it. Let's go. Oh, he's Brazilian.
Gill. Well, that's a simple Brazilian name. They usually tend to be a little fancier than that. Like Willian or Kennedy. But Gill? I mean, you wake up and stare at some fish? What's going on here? All right, what else we got?
Let's see. Chicago Fellows says they subbed out their entire team at halftime. It was a Hong Kong League All-Stars team, not a national team. Yeah. I didn't think it was a national team. Yeah, like Derek said, it was the national, or it was the All-Star team.
It's the All-Star League All-Star team.
I was just joking, saying that they can't call themselves the 11. That's our name. Indy 11.
Well, that was your kidding.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure they can call them whatever the fuck they want to call them.
They should call them the Wiener Cutoffs FC.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. FC.
Wiener Cutoff CF. That'd be if they were Spanish. All right, what else we got?
Let's jump into some Yanks abroad here real quick.
Okay. How do any of you convince yourselves he's not our second best striker? Well, to be fair, and you know, Pepe didn't play this weekend because he's injured. Same with Tillman, by the way. You could still have an argument that, you know, he isn't the second best, maybe the third. I happen to agree with you, but I've heard people make some decent arguments for Balogun and Pepe.
When Pepe plays for the U.S. national team, he scores goals. I can't argue against it. I tend to lean into and liking Sargent's overall gameplay better.
Me too. I agree with him.
So,
but I don't agree that you can't make an argument for the other two. I think you can. It depends on what you like, and you have to take into account Berhalter. But for me, if you take into account Berhalter, that's why Josh is the best, because he can do all of the things that Berhalter wants from a center forward.
He is the Berhalter quintessential 9.
He is. He absolutely is the quintessential 9, Berhalter 9, which is he can come back, he can do the hold-up play, he can squeak the ball off to somebody out wide or passing by. I mean, he does all the things that he's good in the box, and if you want to cross a lot of balls, Sargent will get on the end of those balls.
Yeah. All over the balls.
He's all over those balls. All right. Speaking of balls, this is Meg.
Yeah.
It's our homegirl, Meg. God, have we asked her to come back on the show?
I did, and dropped the ball and failed to follow up with her because she was like, yeah, it's going to be about a month before I can come back on. And then life gets better of me.
Well, no, and there's not been much to talk about.
I need to reach out to Jimmy and Max as well. Both of them have agreed to come on, but we just got to hammer out a time.
Okay. Yeah. Well, we'll still have Tact on Thursday.
Get
but,
Tact in here. We'll keep back on. Well, a smorgasbord of content creators.
Oh, we get a Pete for the whole show, because even though he pretends he doesn't like the humor on this show, he really deep down wants to be dirty as we are. All right, Megan Swanick says, good old Meg. Mwah! Love you, Meg. 6 goals and 10 appearances for Sargent this season with Norwich. His 3rd in 6 games since returning from injury. I mean, the man is on fire again.
Yeah.
He stopped being on fire this season. So I agree. I mean, I love me some Sargent. Eric coming on. Yeah. So in order for me to do that, I need to call him.
Grow a pair, Derek.
Gave me his phone number. So
pull up the same advice you gave Sargent. Sargent's grown a pair. Time for you to grow a pair.
Eric and I were having this conversation via X messaging, and then eventually he's like, yeah, call me. And he gave me his phone number. I'm like, oh shit, now I gotta talk to him before the show. Hopefully he's not gonna chew me out. Anyhow,
motherfucker.
I know exactly who you are. I remember everything. So
I can't believe you for you motherfucker.
This is for what you did 7-8 years ago, motherfucker. Oh no, he's
Derek's on the line going, I'm sorry. Sorry.
You know what I'd start doing? I'd start talking like D-Rack.
Better record that shit.
Oh, Eric, are your feelings hurt? That was 7 years ago. Your daughters are now what? In college, for Christ's sake. Quit crying like a little
never gonna
bitch.
Get him on here. We're never gonna get him on here. I would love it if he came on here and did kind of lay into it a bit, like jokingly. I mean, just like kind of lay into the whole direct thing. That'd be hysterical.
Yeah. Anyhow, I think we've all gone past that. That's the good news. But do I want to talk to him on the phone? Not really. All right. Rogelio Zavala Cabrera. Heath Pierce coming on. Yeah, Heath. I mean, we were in talk to Jimmy to bring him back, but Heath, we never really had a connection with Heath outside of Jimmy.
I should reach out to him just to see if he'd be interested.
I mean, he's out there. They tossed him off that show when they reinvented it.
And hey, it'd be really great to have been on that show again, but I guess I'm not going to be on it.
Yeah.
Oof.
But
yeah, what's happening here?
What's interesting about Heath on that show was he had some of the best takes and he had some of the worst takes. But he not vanilla enough for the show. Let's just say that, because he's either really wrong or really right. There's a little bit in between, but
yeah, I mean, we had our episodes where we had our beats with opinion. I mean, we did the same thing with Davies as well. I'm more happy to have Charlie on here anytime.
And
I think Charlie may be a little too prime time for us, though.
People have posted my disagreements with Jimmy on X, and he's been okay with it. He's just joked around with me about it. So I don't think that anybody's feelings were hurt. But the one thing is, when they came back, when Jimmy first came on our show, before it was a live show, when we came back a couple years ago. It was a recorded show. So we've offered to do a recorded show with him if he doesn't feel comfortable going live with us.
Dealing with all you fuckers out there.
Well, I think that there's some discomfort with what we've become, because when we were at Big Soccer, we were family friendly. Okay. And now our show is definitely the opposite of family friendly. And I think some people are a little wary of going on a show where the F word is said so casually, and other topics are brought up so casually. Honestly, I mean, I've had private discussions just telling you what some of the people are concerned about, and them getting involved in a situation on a live show where they are kind of associated with something we say about a certain topic that is not supposed to be discussed. Right?
No,
right.
not us.
Wiener cutoff. All right. What else you got?
Humor says, "You are the chosen ones."
What have you become? Yeah, I mean, we did have a show back in the day. Just about everybody came on. I mean, go look at the list. It's long. I mean, we had former U.S. players up the butthole. We had pundits.
The big thing is that we were doing this before it became the norm, and now everybody's realizing, well, geez, I could have my own podcast.
Pretty much everyone does.
Okay, fair enough. I mean, you get your couple hundred views in there, whatever you want to do.
Yeah. Well, at one point we had a couple hundred.
Very true.
But yeah, I'm just we'll see what happens, guys. I'm not making any promises. At one point, Eric was going to come on, and then we got to the point where I have to call him to schedule it. So,
well, it's the same scenario I have with Jimmy, Max, and even Meg to this point. Is that I start the conversation and then it just like is put on the back burner, and then all of a sudden you kind of like almost not forget about it, but like I'll address that later. Oh, I'll address that later. Oh, I'll address that later. You know.
Right. No, I get that part, but I would have no problem calling Max.
Yeah.
Right now. I mean, that doesn't worry me. Or calling Meg. My problem would be calling with Eric. I'm not sure what the hell's going to happen when I call him. He's going to dive bomb me. I don't know. Maybe I'm being paranoid.
You're being very paranoid.
Yeah, probably.
I feel like if there was ever an issue, that he would have had to already publicly posted at this point. I don't think there's an issue.
He would have said something to me in private on X. You know, you would think, but you never know. So, all right.
This motherfucker.
I'm making a bigger deal out of it.
100% you are.
I'm being a big baby. All right. Just grow a pair, Derek, as you said earlier.
Yeah.
Make the call. Is Tyler Adams in the midfield rotation at the U.S. men's national team when he comes back from his hamstring injury? Absolutely, until he proves otherwise. This person says, is tits and ass a lock starter in the motherfucker for U.S. men's national team? Absolutely not. Wow. A lock starter? No, I agree. Hamstring issues plus long runs as a 6 plus Johnny means got to earn that spot again. I would agree with all of that at the bottom.
My only argument here would be is he in the rotation when he comes back? No. I feel like he's got to earn it at the club level before he gets back into the rotation, because we're already looking at a spot where we are playing with a double pivot now with an attacking midfield minded player. So we have the Gio Malik tandem as far as who's going to start.
No, not tandem.
No. As far as who's going to start.
Okay.
At that role. Right. And then you have it's been Musa and McKennie, but you have Maloney, you have Johnny Soccer.
Johnny Soccer's kicking ass.
You have Luca De La Torre.
Yep. He's been kicking ass too.
I mean, you even have Tessman and Busio in the flanks.
Well,
they're over there saying, "Hey, don't forget about us."
They're in the peripheral. All right.
No, my point is, when he comes back from his injury, he's gotta show up at the club level first.
Yeah.
In my opinion, before he gets a call back up. Because if he were to return tomorrow, he was on the game day 18 for Bournemouth, I wouldn't want him called up in the Nations League unless he was actually getting minutes.
He's got to be getting minutes. He's got to show that this injury hasn't affected him as a player. And we've talked about that often on this show. Certain injuries, especially the really lengthy ones, kill you. Like they can change the way you play. They can. I don't necessarily think that's going to happen with Tyler, but we have seen players get serious injuries, be gone for long stretches of times, have surgeries, and they just don't come back the same player. I think you could say that's the case for who's the kid on Dallas? We always talk Pomacall. Yeah, but there are plenty of other guys that never really came back as the same player after injuries. Onyewu, great example. Morris, yeah. Although he started the season on fire in MLS this season, then he just kind of.
I could say more about the league than anything, I guess, but
yeah. Scorpion Larry for $2. Thank you, Scorpion Larry. Always transforming, Larry. Maloney has a Jurgen accent? ? Yes. Not the same type. I don't know if you know this, but there are different accents all over Germany, but it would be considered a German accent. Yes. He does have an accent, but a lot of our players do. Brooks has an accent. Dest has a Dutch accent. Just go down the line. There's lots of accents. We got English accents with Balogun and Musa. We got some accents going in that locker room. That's for sure.
So I know Larry's been posting. He's responding to me and everything. He's been saying how he's been watching a lot more of Maloney recently, and how this whole topic of whether or not you know Adams comes back. We have these hurdles to overcome. You have Johnny, who's playing in La Liga right now and playing well.
Really well.
You have Maloney, who's playing in Bundesliga and playing well.
Really well.
Although my argument there is like, funny because he goes, he plays like a center back. And I'm like, well, of course he plays like a center back. He is a center back.
Yeah.
Heidenheim's just playing him as a 6 because they want a defensive option with their backs getting up. And that could be an option for Berhalter in that sense. You don't necessarily have to play Maloney as a 6 in these games. He is a center back who's playing up. So he could be one of our 4 or 5 center back options.
I mean, if you play a 4-1-4-1, he's the first one in front of the back 4, essentially almost dropping back with the center backs on defensive duty when they're on attack because the wingers go up the field, right? So, I mean, he's defensive cover because even on offense, Maloney really rarely goes past further than 15 yards, past half the field.
Yeah, to my point, why is that? Because he's been a center back his entire life.
He's cover. Yeah. He's cover for a center back. He's essentially another center back in a lot of ways. He just plays just in advance of them, but not very far from them. So he's also a ball destroyer and a space taker. Like he shuts down alleys and lanes. He's a lot like Tyler Adams, actually, in a lot of ways. Is he as athletic and quick? No, but he's more muscular and he's a bigger body.
He's surprisingly quick for his size, though.
Yeah, he is. He is. He's not slow.
Yeah, he's not slow by any means.
No. But he does have a German accent. Yes.
I guess to my point in that sense is that even if Adams comes back and he's performing in EPL at that point, Maloney
is not a given.
It's not a given, yeah. But Maloney could absolutely be incorporated as a center back option, / even a if Berhalter ever needed to go to very defensive minded midfield. Say if we're up 1-0 against the Dutch in the World Cup again,
Yeah. Then you want to play more defensively, but Johnny Soccer can play that role as well. And Johnny Soccer can play as a double pivot partner as well. And Musa needs to get back on the field. So, I mean, he did play this weekend, but it's not like he's getting the on and off again starts right now. So he's back to being more of a bench guy as guys get healthy at AC Milan. All right. What else we got?
Well, we can bring real quick.
Scorpion Larry for $2 again. Larry, I got to give you credit, man. You do not stop. You are relentless. For $2, huh? Yeah, in a good way. In a good way. I mean, listen, you're commenting like crazy all the time, so we appreciate that. Can't have Captain America with a German accent. Well, he's not going to be a Captain America. He's not going to be the captain of the team, Maloney.
So I wouldn't worry about that if you're worried about that. And I'll tell you this:
if you had to pick a German American for Captain America, who would you pick?
Jermaine Jones
has to be, right?
Yeah, I mean, Jermaine Jones was the captain of that team. Let's be really honest. That's what he was. He was the guy in the locker room at halftime telling motherfuckers who needs to step up or who needs to move to what position and do what. He was the only one who could go up to Klinsmann and tell him, this shit is broken. You need to fix this shit.
Mm-hmm.
We need to switch formations. And Klinsmann would go, okay. And he'd do it. You know,
appreciate your accent.
Yeah. So Jermaine Jones certainly would have been a guy absolutely capable of being the captain of this team. You could say John Brooks if he's still around, but John Brooks is sort of a negative guy. So I don't know if you really want him to be your captain. He's very critical of other players, which sometimes you need, but sometimes that doesn't work. I think that's what his teammates accused him of being as well, on top of his battles with Greg Berhalter. So, you know, the player council didn't really stick up for John Brooks after he threw his shoe at halftime in Honduras.
Honestly, who throws a shoe?
Well, they do in Iraq. So, all right. So what we got?
All right. Chris Gary wants me to put the comment up that I laughed at.
Maloney's dick has girth. Sounds kind of personal. He does have girth, but I'm talking as a player. I'm not so sure about his penis, but I mean, you know a lot about some of these players, Larry. So I'll give you credit for, being in his drawers, I guess, or having photos of it, nude photos. What was that place where they kept all the nude photos in the cloud and they were all released, like of
Pornhub?
Celebrities?
Pornhub?
No, the cloud that people used to, they thought it was safe. Our homegirl, goalkeeper, Hope Solo, had hers up there. She thought
I don't know if there's a specific cloud for nude celebrities.
No, but it was a cloud where you thought your private photos were safe. Somebody cracked the code and released all of these nude photos of all these fucking celebrities.
Well, I hate to tell those celebrities something, but there's nothing safe about the internet. Don't take nude photos and don't post them anywhere.
And
the internet is forever, guys.
And if you're Hope Solo, please, no close-ups of your cornhole. Seriously? Jesus Christ. That really, I mean, that changed my view on things. All right, the fappening. There were the guys that unlocked it and spread it everywhere. It's the fappening. That's correct. And I remember being excited that there were Hope Solo photos there. I'm like, hell yeah. And then I went there. I'm like, oh. Not that she's an unattractive person, but just sort of the whole.
I think it's quite the opposite, because you were sitting there excited. You're like, yeah. Well, I mean, D-Rec was excited, right?
D-Rec was certainly excited.
Woo!
But then we saw them, and, then we made the infamous butthole meme. But we won't get into that. What the hell? Hope Snow Solos. She would be great on the show, too. But she'll probably never come on the show as well, because over the years, we have made so many comments about her butthole and the close-up shots that she did. Not to mention the skit that D-Rec did with Jurgen Klinsmann.
Happening. We've got the beef.
Not to mention the skit that D-Rec did with Hope Solo and Klinsmann, where Klinsmann was giving Hope Solo advice about how to improve her work in the box, and he wasn't necessarily talking about soccer. Well, that was what was implied in the joke. All right, U.S. Soccer men's national team, our FIFA World Cup 26 group stage schedule. Okay. LA, Seattle, LA. What?
So people are pissed because it's all West Coast.
What the fuck is that? Well, I guess we won't be going to the World Cup, Brett.
Well, yeah, maybe.
I'm not going to Los Angeles. Fuck that place.
I don't know. I've had conversations with a friend of the channel, about going to USA World Cup game. So
Peter North? No shit.
yes, he's gonna fly me out.
You and Peter.
History.
I think about Seattle, but I have friends in Seattle. I don't know anybody in Los Angeles. And why you wouldn't go Los Angeles, Seattle, so you wouldn't have to fly.
Our good friend, the creator of One Love Soccer, is from Los Angeles, I believe.
Oh, yeah. We do have friends out there. No, we also have Simon. Ellen's out there.
Yeah, Simon's there.
Okay, well, maybe I'll think about it. But why you would start in Los Angeles, fly to Seattle, play another game, get back in a plane, fly back to Los Angeles. It's ridiculous. But, yeah, I guess.
I'm picking one game and that'll be it.
Yeah. You
just stay in Los Angeles for, what is that, 13 days? Can't do that.
Wasn't one of the venues Cincinnati or
No.
St. Louis? St. Louis.
Kansas City.
Kansas City. Yeah, that's what I was hoping for.
Kansas City and then the East Coast.
I would have driven. I really don't want to fly either. I'm like Timmy Chandler at this point.
I would have flown, and you could have met me at the airport and picked me up.
And I would have done it too.
Yeah. Like I've driven to South Padre Island. I'm not doing long distance drivings ever again. We're going to Florida for spring break, and I'm like, dude, we're gonna have to drive because the prices for tickets are gonna be out fucking outrageous. Unfortunately, we found some really cheap tickets. Although watching all the video clips of all the airplane issues that we're seeing nowadays, I don't know if that's really boding well in my confidence. But
yeah, exactly.
I'm sitting there going, I'm doing the math. I'm going like, well, I've got my Prius, and the drive down there is only going to cost like $100 gas.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to stop somewhere, stay the night, and then we're whatever, all the mileage.
Start adding it up.
But then the big culprit there was like, do I really want to be in the car for like 15 hours with my kids?
Oh my God, I know.
Worst.
But at least you're entertained, at least annoyed, because my 6-hour drive or whatever it was to Nashville that I just did in October nearly killed me by myself. I mean, I was like, God, I would anybody in the passenger side to talk to, because my brain just goes all over the place. Did I
ever tell you about my trip to South Padre?
No.
So we went. There were 6 of us. We went in 2 different cars, so there are 3 people per car. The idea would be somebody could sleep in the back. You'd have the driver, and you'd have the co-pilot. Co-pilot helps the driver stay awake because we're doing 24 hours straight.
Right.
23 hours, thanks to me.
Mm-hmm.
But I always got the like midnight to 6 a.m. shift. So my co-pilot was always asked to sleep. Just
yeah, that's rough.
I'm like, you bitch. So I'm like cranking up the radio, window rolled down, and he's rolling over there, turned the radio off, and then I turned the radio back. I'm like, fuck you, bro.
It was a dude.
Yeah, it was all dudes in my car.
I thought you were calling Evie a bitch. I was like, she wouldn't take that shit.
No.
She'd
understand if that were the case, though.
She was
supposed to be co-pilot, and she fell asleep. She'd understand.
All right, so yeah, there's the schedule. I'm not going.
DMR, why the fuck would I do that? College, poor, and
you were in college.
Yeah, senior year of college. Didn't want to burn any extra day of spring break staying at a place. We just drove the full 24 hours.
Only took you 4 years to get through college, right?
Yeah.
I took 5.5.
That was one of my only friends that did that shit.
5.5 years for me. Why? I switched majors 3 times. And you know what?
And that's the big thing, right? That's all my friends who went more than 4 years definitely switched majors.
Yeah, and I mean, I didn't do it on purpose, but my parents were like, yeah, I didn't know what you were going to do with an English degree anyhow. So
teach.
So I ended up with 2 majors and 2 minors.
BMR, yes, I drove from Indiana. I drove from Bloomington.
From IU.
Straight down to South Padre, man. Woo.
Yeah. Hey,
never going to do that ever again.
Whatever happened to our German buddy, Berliner? I don't ever see him around. I know it's not.
It's a time issue with him. He's always retweeting and liking our comments on Twitter, but he's not on the show.
Well, I know he watched the show, but he's never on live anymore. That's kind of sad.
Well,
I miss him.
when the show starts, it's like 2-3 in the morning.
I know. And he's got to get up early. I know. All right, what else we got?
Beamer wants to know where I went to college. I went to IU, so I left from Bloomington.
IU, both of us. IU graduates. We
did not know Derek from IU though.
No, we were
randomly met him on the internet.
Yeah, 13 years apart. In graduation, I graduated in 1995, and you graduated in what, 2006? So no, we didn't meet each other there. We were there at the same time, but I was playing in a band, and I was
down by the. Oh no, sorry, said band. Sorry.
I was working at the Hope Foundation, and so I'm sure I never crossed paths with Brett. I don't think Brett was a regular goer to Second Story.
Maybe stopping at the liquor store.
Video Saloon? Do you ever go there?
No.
The Vid?
Nope.
So we would have never crossed paths. All right.
Like I said, maybe a liquor store, maybe a Kroger.
Well, Video Saloon was a townie bar. Anyhow, it's for townies and musicians and artists, and you are none of those things. So, Brian DeMarco, you met a guy 13 years older than you off the internet.
Yes. Actually, that's
sounds
exactly
horrible.
how it happened.
We actually met through Sports Illustrated, and that's not even more shocking because we were both.
They used to have a nice forum on there.
We met.
They post articles, and then there would be like anywhere between like 20 and 30 regulars on there commenting. And it was a lot of fun.
Went on for years. And then we formed another group with former soccer writers, that group. And we all became really, really good friends. And but yeah, don't keep in touch anymore. So except for me and Brett, we do.
Well, I mean, I'll tell you how serious I took it. I mean, for most of the conversation was me talking about the spoof porn names, like Harry Twatter and shit like that I directed.
Yeah,
and that was my big claim to fame for that group was that.
And I was on there as a dog.
You were on there as a dog,
and I was
everything else is history, guys.
Yep. And then one day I said, you know what? I'm going to start a soccer show. You want to be on the soccer show with me? Brett said yes, and we started the show. And then we transferred that. Eventually, Big Soccer came after us, so we went on Big Soccer, and that's it. It's the end of the day. I mean, that's the end of the story, except the story stopped, and then it started again because we went off of Big Soccer 2013, 2014. I don't know. And then we restarted the show a couple of years ago.
Yeah. Jack's birthday, when Jack was born, basically. So, about 2014.
So that's the history of the show. We just gave it to you. There you go.
Touchdown. Yeah.
All right. Scoos news. I'm going to find out what scoos means. Scoos. That sounds like something, the British tend to do, add Z's to people's names. Brian DeMarco, what's amazing is that none of this is surprising.
that this whole show started off with a guy pretending to be a porn director talking to a guy who's pretending to be a dog.
Entertaining 17 other guys who are also there to talk about soccer on a Sports Illustrated forum.
Yeah.
All right. It's hilarious. Soccer International's governing body, FIFA, announced yesterday that New Jersey's MetLife Stadium would be the host of the final match in the 2026 World Cup tournament on July 19th, 2026. The tournament will span across 3 co-hosting countries, U.S., Mexico, Canada. We know about that. Will feature under 4 matches, 48 teams. God, I forgot about the 48 teams craziness. That means we're going to see some blowouts.
Massive blowouts, yeah.
We're going to see some big-ass blowouts.
Blowouts, yeah.
Where, since we're giving everyone a fucking participation trophy to come to the tournament, especially if you're talking about OFC. Whoever comes
they get an extra spots. I mean, that means they get 1.5.
They got Oceania's going to get New Zealand, and what other fucking island comes out of there?
Well, that's assuming that other island can beat, the island nation in the Caribbean here.
Well, that's true. Well, then they only get 1 spot then.
Yeah.
Honestly, because any of our, like Trinidad, Tobago, you name it.
Fiji versus Brazil should be fun.
Yeah, I mean, if that happens, it's embarrassing that's what FIFA has thrust upon us, like a 2-bit male whore. All right,
I'm sorry, but the Oceanic group should only get one spot. The other half spot that they would have had should go to like Europe. And then all of a sudden you have a European team facing against a CONCACAF team or a Brazilian or African or whatever, you know? It's just no, you should not just give an extra spot to every organization out there.
You could argue a lot. You could argue that Africa deserves more spots. You could argue Asia deserves more spots, but fucking Oceania deserves 0 spots. Actually 0. But New Zealand will play in every single fucking World Cup from now on going forward, because Samoa ain't beating fucking New Zealand anytime soon. They should just figure out a way to incorporate Oceania in with Asia and just get rid of that stupid federation. So you have Oceania, and the top Oceania team then plays in the group stage of the knockout of the group stage of the AFC qualifying. That way, you don't get like a birthday present every World Cup. Like New Zealand's going to be in every single World Cup.
Yep.
From here going out till eternity. It doesn't matter how bad they are, and they're pretty bad. Maybe Italy could actually make it. You would think so this time, Jack. You would honestly think so. MetLife Stadium can seat about 87,000 people. It's sold out. If sold out, it'll be sold out. Be in the top 10 of World Cup attendances. All right. The opening match for Mexico will take place in Mexico City at Azteca, which is the first stadium to host, I'm guessing, 3 World Cups. Yeah, okay. The U.S. opening match will take place in Los Angeles, SoFi, and Canada's first match will be BMO, both on June 12th. Along with the above-mentioned U.S. cities, Boston, Houston, Miami, Philadelphia, and Seattle are also hosting matches. Where did Kansas City go? Man, the Midwest got fucked out of this World Cup, dude. They got fucked. Totally fucked. It's like we don't exist. The flyover states, could you say that more, blatantly than just ignoring the whole Midwest? You got the bottom of the country and the 2 coasts, and everybody in between gets the big fucking finger.
Kind of surprised Chicago didn't get anybody.
Yeah, does Antarctica get a spot? They're actually not a part. They're not actually even a country. But hey, no one gives a fuck about the Midwest, Derek. Yeah, probably including UPMR. But I got to tell you, there's some great fan bases in Cincinnati, Columbus, Indianapolis, St. Louis. I mean, they all got fucked. Nashville has a great soccer fan base.
Well, there's got to be a city with an international airport, so Indianapolis is out. So, like I said, Chicago. I'm guessing.
Make an exception.
Yeah.
Make an exception.
I'm guessing Nashville has an international airport.
I think they do. Either way, you could still make an exception and have a direct flight for a World Cup. You could work that out.
You throw in Chicago and Philly. No, not Philly. Pittsburgh.
Philly.
Rephrase that.
Yep. Well, Pittsburgh. They have a USL team. They still have.
Yeah, but it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be. Who cares about the MLS stadiums? They're not. I would wager. There's not going to be outside of Toronto Stadium. There's not going to be a single. Well, hold on now. The SoFi Stadium. So, which one's SoFi?
In Los Angeles.
Yeah, no, but that's not LA Galaxy Stadium, is it?
No, that's LAFC.
I didn't think that's LAFC's.
I don't know.
I would imagine they would play all the games in NFL stadiums.
Is that San Diego? Is that where San Diego plays? I don't know. Either way, yeah, all of the Midwest. Maybe the stadiums weren't big enough.
It's still 3,000. I don't know who plays. Who fucking plays there? Los Angeles Rams. Derp. That makes sense. The Rams play there. Yeah. So outside of BMO, no MLS stadiums. Who cares? At that point, it's all going to be. So it's going to be Philly. I guess Pittsburgh does. It could be Pittsburgh Steelers Stadium. Mm-hmm. So I mean, it'd be. You could have an MLS venue there, but
you could have a World Cup venue there. You'd have to replace all. I mean, I think they have real grass, but at Pittsburgh Steelers Stadium, I think that's all real grass. So they could have done it there.
So
That holds 70,000.
The big talking
more.
point really is that the fact that the finals being played at MetLife.
In
There
New
was
Jersey.
there was talks of it being down in Dallas with the Cowboys Stadium.
Nah.
Rose Bowl, I think, is where the finals were in the '94 World Cup.
Mm-hmm.
So, but people are. I mean, I know Tack even made the joke. It's like, I love New York. I've lived in New York. I was trying to hoping that we would avoid the rest of the world knowing about New Jersey.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Is that in sort of the Meadowlands area, though? MetLife? Yeah.
I guess my big concern there would be the weather. You know, it's going to be in the middle of summer. It's the possibility of rain occurring. That's why I kind of imagine that, you know, Dallas and LA probably made a little more sense, but
It's kind of like New Yorkers don't even think of the Meadowlands as New Jersey. It's just theirs, you know? So, but New Jersey has that particular stench on it from years past. I don't know if it's really ever recovered, but yeah, that's the New Jersey joke. All right, we got more? I still got Yanks abroad here.
Yep, last thing I got.
Deacon Clap Cheeks. The straight red card. I'll have some of whatever Lawless is smoking. What did he say now?
Hold on. I want to go back to this real quick. No more stadiums will host games. They just mentioned BMO.
But most of them are too small.
No, 100%. Yes, I agree with this.
Yeah.
Oh, except for he corrects himself there. Yeah, except for Toronto. Yeah, agreed. And that's the thing. I mean, I guess at that point, it's like all the other games will be like played in front of like, you know, 50, 60, 70, 80,000 people, except for all of Toronto's games are going to be played in front of like 20,000 people.
Yeah. Oh, there's a national anthem we didn't talk about. Canada's.
Oh, Canada.
Yeah, you're a little off there. Oh, Canada.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Blah, da, dee, 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 doo. I don't know the lyrics.
Yeah, exactly.
Blah, blah. Yeah, I don't know the lyrics of the song.
Yeah. The Lawless has this picture of the State of the Union with Greg Berhalter.
What?
Yeah.
Greg's
and he
on
says, in 2026, Greg Berhalter wins a World Cup down the road from where he grew up.
Oh, Lexi doesn't believe that. He knows he doesn't believe that. And why do you have to bring up Greg Berhalter? Why didn't he could have brought up other people? We have players that
down the road from Claudio Reyna.
Down the road from Gio Reyna. Down the road from it's not that far from Hershey, Pennsylvania, for Christ's sake. Use Pulisic. Don't use Greg. Please do not use Greg.
I don't know if Gio's actually spent any living time in New Jersey.
I think
he was. No, I'm pretty sure he was in England and then he went to New York.
No, that's true. But yeah, anybody in the New England area works. Don't use Greg. I'm sorry. It's antagonizing. Oh, I'm sorry. I guess it's triggering because we don't know if Greg Berhalter is going to be the fucking manager. He probably has a 90% chance of being the manager. Yeah. But if we stink it up completely and don't even get out of the group stage at Copa America, there could be a chance that he gets fired. And right now, he's the biggest impediment to the talent we are seeing out there right now at Juve and AC Milan and other places. Hopefully, Nottingham Forest will see a lot more Arena. We'll talk about that. The turn in the background. Oh, Canada, my wife, Blue Trudeau.
Joey says that they're expanding Toronto Stadium to 40K by then.
That sounds small.
It's big for MLS for the most part.
I mean, that's like 4 inches when you're looking for 8. That's what she said.
Maybe the cavity is just not that big and 8 is just too much.
What are you, fucking a middle schooler? Come on. All right.
Good thing.
I've never met a girl that's like 4 is too much. Give me a break.
Never said 4 was too much. I said maybe 8 was too much.
I've heard you're too much, but I've never heard 4 is
and
too
you're
much.
Happy with 4, then yeah.
No, I'm happy with 7. All right, let's move on. Wiener cut off. Okay.
Exactly. Let's jump into the rest of the Yanks abroad. We talked about Juve, kind of.
Okay.
Let's start from the beginning.
Oh, all right. Yeah, let's start from Friday. Maloney went 90 versus Dortmund, and he gets sort of a semi-revenge against Dortmund because that game ends with a tie. And if Terzic could look, and that team could look less toothless, if I am Dortmund, I am firing this guy. I'm firing him. I know they went on a good stretch there for a while, but this is what they do. Every time they get going and you think, okay, they're going to be fine. They got it. They figured it out. They could lay down a stinker. This game was incredibly difficult to watch. I watched it for Maloney. It's the only reason I watched it, but it was hard to watch. It was boring. What a boring game. Bailey Herrera, what's worse, dropping a stinker in Copa America and Greg getting fired, or doing well at Copa and then dropping the ultimate stinker at the World Cup, hoping for the worst at Copa, to be honest. Yeah, but here's the thing. If we do really well at Copa, let's say we get to the semis and then we lose, Matt might mean Greg might have figured out that he needs to listen to his assistant coach a lot. He if we do really well, that means he's listening to BJ Callahan. If we do really poorly, he's just listening to himself. All right, because that's the problem with Greg is he's not really going to listen to BJ Callahan and say, well, I'm going to do it BJ's way, because then you might as well just have BJ Callahan be the coach, and that hurts Greg's ego. So Greg's still going to Greg. And if Greg Gregs it, then we're not going to do very well in Copa. I don't think. The players will have to step up and save him from himself.
Well, I mean, I hate to say it, but anytime we play, to put us in a position where we can't give Greg any credit at all.
Right.
But at this point, I think anytime we do exceed expectations, it's going to be because of the players. Because I don't think that his tactics as a whole, his system, is really going to light the world on fire.
Right. So when BJ switched to the 4-2-3-1, and I think did we see Hudson do a 4-2-3-1? I think we did. So those two assistants,
Nations League.
Yeah, we saw both of the assistant man, and so now Greg has switched to a 4-2-3-1, and we thought, oh, thank God, he learned something from BJ and Hudson. No, he didn't, because he still strangles the players with his goddamn triangle system. Everybody plays triangle system. Okay, that's how soccer works. You're usually working triangles, but the way that our play is structured, the way we move the ball, is so predictable, and you can tell the players look completely constipated out there. Like, oh, I'm supposed to do this now. Oh, am I supposed to pass it there now? I'm supposed to, because of what Greg's telling them, where the ball should go. The patterns of play are so fucking predictable, at least under BJ and Hudson. The patterns of play were, I'm not going to say more chaotic, but they were more artistic, right?
It was loose.
It was much looser.
It can flow through properly, right?
Exactly. The poop flow. Even Pepe said his poop was flowing better. He's like, I can poop better under Callahan.
I didn't need to take any fiber at all this week.
He's allowing me to go out there and just rip it, is what Pepe said in the interview. That he enjoyed playing in this new non-system, the system of freedom.
Mm-hmm.
And listen, he didn't get, like, Berhalter didn't hold that against him, but those of us who heard those words, and he wasn't the only one saying it, Scally said it too. Mm-hmm. You know, I shouldn't have to go out there and feel like I got a fucking pipe up my ass, like I was one of those, remember the old hockey board games where you pulled the sticks? That's what they feel like with Greg out there. Like they got to stick up their ass.
Like when the quarterback has that little thing they can move over to see what play to call, and it's hand signals and whatnot. It's like that. It's like, well, let's see. Des moved over here, then Weston moved over there. I need to go over here. Okay.
Yeah, and you can't play like that. You can't. So, thank you, Bailey, for your question. Jack Pineda, another $2. You're stacking them up tonight, Jack, and we do appreciate it. We got to come up with a nickname for Jack Pina Colada Pineda. Pina Colada Pineda. It's got alliteration to it. Terzic lost Dortmund the title last season. Well, yeah, I
He
mean,
lost him the title last season because he didn't play Reyna earlier. Reyna came in the last game, got 2 goals, could only do so much, or 2 assists.
yeah. Well, and then he was scoring goals as a super sub throughout the end of the season and saved his ass on several occasions. But Herzig's not really. Remember, he took this team over. He was a sporting director. He didn't really. I don't know if he was forced into taking it over while they were looking for a new manager, and they did so well they just hung on to him. But he doesn't really. He's a sporting director kind of guy. He's not a coach. He's not a manager. He's doing okay. But man, watching them play this season has been really painful. Painful.
Yeah.
All right. Then Christopher Lund went 90 in a win. Hilton and Osadina played for Dordrecht down in the lower divisions there. Hilton went 52. Osadina went 30 in the win. Justin Shea with another start for ADO down there in the second division in a win. So promising for Justin because, I mean, Jesus, a pub league for Christ's sake. He should be playing. But for most of the season, he hasn't been.
Jumping back to Lund, Palermo's currently 5th in Serie B right now.
Right.
Venezia's 4th. Como is 3rd. All U.S.-based players on those teams.
And Lecco is last.
Who's at Lecco? I forgot.
Novakovic.
Oh. Shrug.
Speaking of the lower leagues, Augustine Anello, often talked about by those who like to break out the Vaseline about young players in Europe and stroke it regardless. Also went 55 for Camber in a tie. Lecco. I said Lecco and then I said Lecco. I said both because I wasn't sure, so thank you. Okay, and then on Saturday, Chris Richards went 90 in a loss. Ream and Jedi went 90 in a tie, which should have been a win. They were up 2-0, and they made 2 horrendous errors that cost them the game. Leno making one of them for Fulham, costing them the game. They ended up with a 2-2 tie.
But Jedi had a fantabulous assist.
He did. I mean, it was a great cross. I will say this: he played really. Huh? We're past.
It was behind the back, just kicked over his head.
Oh, I was thinking about last weekend or the weekend before. Okay, yeah, probably.
This one everybody's like dubbing like the assist. I'm like, well, it still counts as an assist. He may not have been intending it that way.
I was really interested in watching Tim Ream come back. And he did struggle a little. He looked mostly like his normal self, but on one of the goals, you could pretty much blame him for the tying goal. He was where he was supposed to be to cut off the cross, and as he stuck out his leg, he just missed the ball. Somehow it went under his leg, of course, and then it went in the goal. So I think the guy scored it. I was trying to see if it was an own goal somehow, but Ream could have stopped that. Man, it was mostly good though. I mean, for 75-80% of the game, Ream was fantastic again. So 1 or 2 errors in the whole game. Mm-hmm. Austin Trusty at left center back played left back
line, isn't he?
Well, he was playing left back in the games before. Now he's moved back to left center back. So it's back and forth, depending on whether they play 4 or 5 in the back. So left center back, so they moved back to 5 in the back. And he went 90 in a loss. Reggie Cannon back from what I thought was going to be a kind of serious injury. It really wasn't. As he went the full 90 in a win for QPR and in a win they needed. And they're pulling out. Now, they're still not out of, what could be a potential relegation battle, but a win's good. Sargent 90 and a goal, then a win. And Haji Wright. This is against Haji Wright, who went 90 in the loss. So Coventry are 7th and Norwich are 8th, I believe.
I'll check.
Well, while you check, Dwayne Holmes was not even in the roster. He's not listed as injured for Preston North End, which ESPN gifted us this game this weekend, and he didn't even play. He wasn't even on the field. He didn't make the team. He didn't dress. He was naked in the stands.
So Coventry, Sunderland, and Norwich are all tied with 44 points, but it's 7th, 8th, and 9th, Norwich being 9th.
Yeah, so we're talking about goal difference. And then goal difference. Gooch, 57 in a loss. In a loss. He played left winger instead of left back. They are currently sitting in 20th. So that is hurting for Stoke. DK. Let's call him Dyke. 7 minutes for West Brom. PFOC, 90 minutes along with Scally for 90, except PFOC got a goal.
Mm-hmm.
In their loss to Bayern, 3-1. Pulisic, 80 in a win. Very frustrating to watch this. This is one of the first games I'm starting to notice that Pulisic is getting frustrated. And it's because motherfuckers aren't passing him the fucking ball.
Mm.
Like, he'll be there and he'll be waving, hey. No one recognized. And sometimes he's open on that left shoulder or that right shoulder could be a cross to his head. He could head it in or just to switch fields. But no. AC Milan, one of their problems is their patterns of players too slow. The transition from one side of the field to the other is too slow. By the time the ball gets to Pulisic, he's got 3 guys in front of him. It's got to be quicker somehow. They got to figure that out. Otherwise, they're not going to do well. They're going to, even though they won this game, they're going to lose to other really good teams. They're going to lose to the Inners. We'll see. But
real quick, correction. Fumar's mentioning that PFOC got the assist, not the goal. And that brings me back to when we were talking about before the show. I mentioned how I watched the game on Saturday and I couldn't remember what it was. It was this game.
I didn't watch it.
Oh, so fucking stoked. They went up and everything.
Well, so how did PFOC that goal get taken away from him?
No, he got the assist.
But it was listed on the report. The original report has a goal.
If I recall correctly, he laid it off. And no, it was absolutely an assist. They fucked up then.
Soccer way fucked up. That's shocking.
Yeah.
Wow. That's a rarity. All right. Fossey, 84 in a tie. Reynolds, 45 in a loss with Yao going 65. Looked like Reynolds picked up an injury, I'm told, and was pulled in at halftime.
Real quick. I do want to paint the picture of that goal though, just so you have an idea. The ball was played out by Bayern's goalkeeper into the center of the pitch, which was a dangerous play. It got dispossessed. The guy who was scoring the goal dispossessed the Bayern player. Played it to PFOC, who was sitting around the PK spot with his back to the goal. Then he laid it off to him, and then he slotted it home. So it was it was a nice play. I mean, they went up, and then they shit the bed after that.
I went to look for the replay on ESPN. I did not see that game on there.
Yep, that was the one. That was the game. That was one game I watched on Saturday.
Did you watch it live?
Yeah.
Wonder why it's not in the replay section. Maybe it is now. McKenzie went 90 in a loss. Dest, 89 in a tie. Tillman's injured. Pepe's injured. So sad. And they're lucky, really, to hold on to that. That was a really fun match to watch against Ajax. Entertaining, but I was really disappointed not to have at least another American on there, Tillman, to watch. Dest, I know what Dest can do. And Dest has been doing it all season. He's been fairly reliable, if not, it's sometimes spectacular. Benji Michel did not dress for Aruka. Johan Gomez, the brother of Jonathan, went 67 for Braunschweig in the loss. They're in the lower second division in Germany. Speaking of our good buddies, Julian Green and Max Dietz both went 90. Max Dietz, telling you, hold on to that name, center back of the future for the U.S. men's national team. They did lose 3-2, though, but they lost to the best team in the league, St. Pauli. So they sit fourth. Or was it against St. Pauli? All I know is they're now 4th and St. Pauli's in 1st. And of course, St. Pauli is coached by Fabian Hartzler, who is an American, at least by birth. Although he's lived most of his life in Germany. And his name is Fabian Hartzler. There you go. Nate Brown, 90 and an assist for Nuremberg in a tie. They sit 9th in the 2nd division. Tessman went 90, Busio 90 +1 in a loss versus Parma. These are games they cannot lose. They're losing them.
No,
they lost to Parma, who's in 1st, so I get it, but still, you want to get in the automatic promotion, guys. Quit choking here. Novakovic 33 in a loss for Lecco. They're the worst team in Serie B. And Gioacchini in the 18 for Como did not play. 2nd game in a row he was on the bench. Polvara, an assist in 77 minutes in a tie against Celtic. I wanted to watch that, couldn't find it. I like Dante Polvara. He's got something going for him there. CCV did not dress. And then Sunday, Matt Turner was in the 18, did not play. That is not shocking. Gio got his 12 minutes, which, by the way, he didn't look like he was too out of sorts to me. He looked like he fit in pretty well.
So I made the comment on Twitter saying that, hey, once Gio got in there, they held up possession better. They were actually stringing passes together. It wasn't just the standard English long ball and counter type of play. And I got a lot of flack for it. People were coming back and like, well, that's because they got a red card and he didn't touch the ball prior to that. And I had to go back. I actually went back and watched
the ball.
I went back and watched the 6 minutes before the red card occurred. And I'm like, and I was counting it. I'm like, well, let's see, there were 2 headers.
Mm-hmm.
There were like 2 passes, and there was a 1-2 that could have resulted in a scoring opportunity if their striker wasn't offside when he played it over.
What twat said that to you?
I don't know who it was. But ultimately, yes, I know that when the red card came, the big difference is Bournemouth still played the same way they did. They still had chances. They still pushed up on the attack.
Yeah.
Forest changed how they played, though. And it wasn't purely just because of Gio by any means. But when he came in, all of a sudden possession was had. They were moving the ball a little more methodical up the pitch rather than just erratic.
Right.
So,
he did drift.
I think everybody, especially once the red card happened, I think that played into the factor by all means. But I think a lot of that came from when Gio came in.
We're supposed to stop watching the game because there was a red card given to the other team. That means that Gio Reyna doesn't get any credit for coming out and look completely comfortable out there, not losing the ball, in possession, comfortable, look good. Looks like he has a good relationship with the manager, by the way, who gave him a good pep talk right before he went on. Basically said, just go out there, be you. Drifted towards the middle a number of times and drifted to where the play was a number of times. And obviously he's gotten that okay from Nuno to do that. Otherwise he wouldn't do it. So he wasn't just stuck out left, anyhow. It was mostly safe and simple from Gio, which is fine because he's only been on the team for like 3 days. Exactly. He made one move that was pretty awesome. One in particular, where he took it into the box, past the player. And I thought, oh, this is going to be good. And then it passed, didn't work out, whatever. But listen, that's not a kid who's going to be afraid. He is not Mihailovic. He's not, I'm not going to disparage any other players. I could name some, but he's going to go out there and he's going to try to make a difference. This is not a kid who's going to show up and be safe all season. He's not going to do it. So Forest fans talk says he looks great in practice, which is what I care about. Not that first game. Yeah. It's 15 minutes.
Yeah. Well, and even we saw it in Dortmund, especially when he's clean in tight spaces.
Right.
So when they're in their defensive third and they're trying to get the ball out and everything like that, and they play it to him, he's under pressure. He's still calm and collect.
Yep.
He makes a simple pass and then moves off and usually gets the ball back. And that's different than what you saw prior to it. And I'm not trying to shit on Forrest by any means. But I mean, it was very much what I was watching, and I haven't watched many of their games, so I can't really say if this is a consistency. But from what I was watching before Gio came on, is that it was very much an old English style form of soccer. Very direct, very fast-paced, very quick-moving forward.
Fast-paced didn't seem to affect him at all. So that's good news.
So,
all right.
So, I mean, to your point, he did not look out of sorts, and he looks comfortable being there. And I'm hoping that he gets. They play this Wednesday in the cup.
He might get the start, or he'll get, come in at 55 instead of 75. We'll see. Balogun's injured. They played against Sabi's Le Havre team, and it was a tie. Sabi went 87. Paredes, maybe it's too early to just discount Sabi completely. I know when he played for us last time, he looked horrible.
Yeah.
But he could have been trying too hard. That happens sometimes. You get the call up, you get your 15 minutes, and you go out there and you try too hard. You hold on to the ball too long. And that's what happened to him. He looked like he was trying too hard. So, nope, Gio isn't registered for a FA Cup. Oh, that's right. God damn.
Yep. Everybody goes.
Oh, that's so disappointing.
Well, that means he's going to be fresh and ready for the weekend then.
Yeah, it didn't even occur to me that there's no way they could do that. All right. Okay, where were we? Paredes, 90. Could have had a goal. Played really well. I mean, Paredes is looking really good. And he's even come out and said, I need to put on more muscle, weight, etc. But he's quick. And the last two games in particular, whatever wing side he's on is the side that's getting dominated. Not he's dominating the other guy he's playing against. So it's good news for Paredes. And that tie was against Brooks, who went 90 as well for Hoffenheim, against his old team, Wolfsburg. His first team. What was the first team? Second team, maybe. All right. So Matthew Hoppe did not dress for Middlesbrough. That's not a surprise to anybody following. We told you he's not going to dress. I haven't seen him on the 2 team either. So that's really not good news. Brendan Aaronson, 15 minutes for another crappy Union Berlin display by everyone on Union Berlin, honestly. Jeremy Toljan's injured. McKennie, we already talked about at length, but spectacular game. Weah did get 27, but it was in a loss. The loss was certainly not on McKennie. There were some really bad decisions out there.
For the matter, yeah.
Yep. And they weren't McKennie wasn't making the bad decisions. And
that was such a horrifically boring game to watch.
It was boring, but once Inter scored, then it actually picked up a little bit.
It was after halftime is when it picked up. It was after halftime.
Mm-hmm.
So I had I don't even remember what game it was. Juve a couple months back. Juve played a game, and I watched it at my parents' house with my brother and his kids and stuff like that. Big Juve fans as a whole. And this is one of the few games that they watched, and I'm like, oh yeah, they should win. It's a team they should win against. And it was just a battle nonstop, like an ugly soccer. And when they ended up winning 1-0, and I'm like falling asleep on the chair. I'm like, oh my god, this is so fucking boring.
Yeah.
And then this week happened after several weeks of them playing really well, and then watching this game occur, and I'm just like, oh, this is gonna be a fun game. And then all of a sudden I watch them like, oh,
who's
so boring.
Who was the guy who fucked up? Like McKennie takes the ball all the way down the field.
It was Vlahovic.
Vlahovic, what the fuck?
Yeah, the first touch of somebody with a cinder block for a boot.
He looked like Zardes. He looked like Jossie Zardes on his first touch. It was embarrassing for him. And at least he took responsibility for it. I mean, he had his head in his hands, shaking his head like, I fucked that up so bad.
McKennie had a great 40-yard run, splitting between players.
Yep.
It's funny because my nephew was like, oh, I wish McKennie would have just shot it, because he was screaming for like shots from outside the box. I wish he would have just shot him. Like, McKennie did exactly what he should have done. That was the best play he should have done right there. He pulled the defender. He pulled Vlahovic's man
center back. Yep.
And then he played it off to him. All he had to do was a soft touch forward, rip it left-footed. It would have been a goal.
He could even have ripped that first time.
Yeah,
he didn't even need to touch it once. It was horrible.
Well, the week prior, he stole Weston's goal, and now he's stolen an assist from him.
Yeah, exactly. Little Steeler.
Yeah.
We should call him the Little Steeler punk ass bitch.
Yeah.
All right. Way I went 2070 is mostly anonymous. Luca De La Torre got a goal and an assist in 87 minutes for Celta Vigo. By the way, he looked really good. He looked really good out there.
I'll come back to that. Well, let's talk about him real quick. I'll come back to Way in a second. But no.
I mean,
it's like the second week in a row that he's had great games back to back.
Well, this one was an all-around great game.
Yeah.
The other one, he had good moments. This is just, he was solid all game long. So good for him. He's keeping himself in the picture, regardless of the fact that Cardoso's knocking on the door for the midfield for the U.S. men's national team. But he's just a solid kid. I mean, he's not a kid. He's just a good player. And he's going to keep starting.
Yeah.
Because his performances since he got benched for a little while.
Mm-hmm.
But he's made his comeback and made a statement this last game.
Real quick.
Go ahead, Wea.
Yeah, I also wanted to bring up Celta Vigo. They obviously that's only one win. I thought they won 2 games in a row, but I guess it's only one win. They must have won the cup game as well. Must be mixing up there that he had a great game for. They're only 3 points off of relegation, so they're still battling there.
Yeah, it's going to be a battle.
But as far as Way, I recall hearing, maybe I was half asleep, and maybe I just imagined this, because George was in the audience again to watch his son play.
Oh, okay.
And I thought I heard the announcers talking about how George wasn't happy with Weah's playing time with Juve.
Yeah, they did mention that.
So, okay, I'm not imagining that. Like, did you just say that? So
yeah, but then if you get 27 minutes, you got to do something with it. And I don't know. In that system, maybe that's not perfect for Weah, because I like it when he comes from the outside in. He didn't do enough of that. He mostly stuck out wide this game.
Mm-hmm.
And he did use his speed. He did try to do a couple crosses that got blocked. It wasn't totally anonymous. He and McKennie had some triangle passes with other players that were all right, but they didn't go anywhere, you know?
Yeah.
All right. Cardoso went 90 in a tie for Real Betis, who sit, I think, at 6th or 7th, looking really good. And, I mean, here's a guy. I mean, Tack could have been more right about this. He said he's going to slot right in and become a starter right away. And he has. And not only has he become a starter, he looks great. He looks completely comfortable out there. Like, he's been playing for this team for like 3 years. And, you know, when you watch a kid who just goes to another, one thing you're looking for is, are they afraid? Are they nervous? Are they playing afraid or nervous?
Mm-hmm.
No, he's not. So great news for us. Slonina, 90 in a loss for Eupen. Kave Zahirolislam, 75 minutes for St. Truden in a loss. Did not score this time after last time getting a brace. Then the big one, Taylor Booth with 3, not only just goals, but some spectacular heel goals. You name it, he did it. This is the Taylor Booth we were looking for at the beginning of the season. He's
finally
back.
woke back up after his injury. Yeah,
he's back. But to cap it all off, his brother Zach got a goal, the first goal of the game. And I thought it was going to be called offsides, but it wasn't. And so you had 4 goals by Booth brothers in one game.
It's funny because Larry's not the biggest Booth fan by any means. And then he goes, I'm paraphrasing Larry, so if I got it wrong, you know, feel free to correct me. But he's like, as of right now, I've kind of got a half chub for him. And if he can do it against a team that's not bottom of the league.
Yeah, they are. Volendam. Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, if you put it in perspective like that, Volendam are the worst team in the league. And I think the Booth dad was there. But that's the only family member.
If you're gonna make the move over there to watch your kids play, you might as well watch the 2 games that they play.
Against each other. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but what a fun game to watch, though. I had to actually steal this. Well, I shouldn't say that. I watch it on an illegal feed. I'm not going to say. I'm not going to say how, because it wasn't on ESPN. You little pricks. God damn it! Cover some games with Americans on it. Okay, we're getting it.
That's weird because I thought all the Dutch games were on ESPN. So it's just select. So it's like the championship in that sense.
Yeah, select. Except there's usually 3.
PSV generally.
There's like a few, but always PSV. Thank God. But not.
They're going. Well, there's 3 Americans on there. We've got to play that game.
Well, I mean, I can understand why they're not going to play Volendam versus Go Eagles. You know, I mean, who's going to fucking watch that shit? But I get it. Yeah, because I was looking for I was looking to watch Zahir Al-Islam's game this weekend. And we game before they had this one, they didn't have. So I couldn't watch it. He didn't score, so I didn't miss much, apparently. Your homeboy, Alex Mendez, was in the 18 for Vasela.
We're tight.
He didn't play. Caleb Stanko went 90 for Lamia in the Greek Super League.
You know, it's fun. It's funny that we bring up players like Stanko. We had somebody in the comment section of our last live stream saying, "Hey, you know, thanks for covering these players that we never hear about." You know, he basically mentions how it's a pain in the ass to follow all these players, as Derek well knows. It's a lot of work to follow every single one of these guys and bring them. And I've told him, I'm like, hey, we've had this discussion. Like, do we really need to cover this guy that's playing in 3rd Bundesliga? Sure, I guess, because nobody else really is.
Yeah. I mean, I'll do it on occasion if it's an American kid in like the 3 Bundesliga, but I pretty much cut it off at 2 Bundesliga at this point. Vasquez, 83 minutes, not a goal this time, but he started again for Monterrey. That was against Zendejas' Club America, and he went 78. Neither of them scored or got an assist or made a massive impact on the game. Conrad, your other homeboy there at Ibar, played a whole 8 minutes down there in the Segunda division in Spain. So he's just taking bitches' names there. He's like taking names, making his point. No, mostly riding. He's going
to recover here. He's going to bounce back from his career.
Yeah, sure. All right. And then today, Alex Borto was in the 18 for Fulham's U21s, but didn't play.
Oh, and that's never mind.
Yeah.
He said on the 18, I was like thinking like, oh, he made the 18 of this. Oh, no, the youth. Oh.
Yeah, exactly. You were hoping he's starting for the U21s, and he does on occasion, but not every game. They had another guy named McNully, I think, who started. Cal went 15 for Chivas in a win. Didn't get to watch this one. Didn't watch this one yet. Might go back just to peek at his 15 and see if, they started the game before at center forward, which is interesting, but because that's not where he's normally played, center forward. The thing is, though, you still know he's going right, even though he's playing center forward. You still know he's going to cut right to make his opportunities. And then Rickson Van Hees got 90 minutes for Utrecht's 2 team versus they lost versus Ajax's 2 team. But he plays every game for Utrecht, and it's very possible we might see him move to the 1 team next season. So that's why we keep an eye on him. And that's all we got, folks. That is, unless you got more, Brett.
Real quick, last thing, I was just scrolling through some of Twitter and want to get notifications, and came across a minute 55 video of some Forest fans talking about Gio. Now, I have not watched this, so I don't know what they're thinking. You want to watch it real quick?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's just see what the Norwich fans are saying, because
Forest fans. Forest.
That's what I meant to say. Forest, yeah.
Okay.
So I haven't seen this yet, so I don't know what they're going to say.
Big shit.
Hopefully they don't say anything that's going to get our show canceled.
You can go ahead.
Gio Reyna got off the benchmark fairly late in proceedings. What do you take too much from it? We didn't really see too much time from him, but encouraging or not?
Yeah, he wanted the ball. He drifted across that between the lines. He I saw enough to go. He's class. He's very calm on the ball, finds in space, looking around him. Great awareness, good first touch, very strong technically.
It's a good start.
Yeah, that's a really good start. You got to be careful how you pronounce the name of this show. Big Shed. Big Shed.
Yeah. Big Shed.
You watch the Big Shed?
I take the Big Shed.
That's gross, dude. No, I don't watch you. I don't watch Big Shits. That's gross. No, Big Shed.
Kumar watched this live today.
I watched the stream live. Okay, that's good. I like to do that.
See a final product yet, but it's there. It's there. I'm very, very happy he's at the club. I think he's going to be a big bonus for us over these run-in. He's just got that quality that we've only really got it in, somewhat in Hudson-Odoi, certainly Gibbs White, and we've lost it in Mangala. But so he's vital that we've got that other player in our ranks who can do that bit of the unexpected or bring out that pass that just breaks the line, has that little bit of vision, and he's got all of that. He's got, he can beat a man.
I'm trying to wait for a stopping point here.
The fact that we got him in.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a pretty solid praise.
No, this is solid praise, and it's obviously somebody who this is just eye test for them, right?
Yeah.
And they're already saying this shit.
Well,
right?
I mean, the 15 minutes, as we talked about, there was nothing really overly spectacular, but we pointed out the same things that he did at Dortmund, which was maintain possession. He never really got dispossessed. His passes went to where they're supposed to go to, and he moved the ball along, and he always moved into space. He was always looking for that ball.
And he's always one step. Like, if you pass him the ball, he's already thinking about what he's going to do with it.
Yeah, 100%.
And if that means a triangle pass backwards or sideways or forward, he knows where the safe spot is to get out of a tight spot. Like, so you can kick it to him in a tight spot. He's not going to lose it. You already know where he's going to go to next. And I'm glad that they're seeing this just with an eye test. This is good news.
And I know we have our concerns, the red flags of going to Forest, but I'm actually interested and eager to watch the Forest game this weekend.
Me too. And the red flags were tax red flags, not ours. And by the way, I texted him today, or no, did I chat him? I might have chatted him. And I said, by the way, when you come on, we're going to be addressing your red flags. That's what we're going to be talking about. So we'll see. All right. You want to keep playing, or does Emily have something to say? She's been shaking her head. Yes.
I trust Nuno to get the best out of him as well. Nuno as well.
I do too.
Some very technical players, and he will find a role for him in our 11 that will maximise his talent. So, yeah, I'm really happy with that situation.
Yeah, I thought Reyna had a really good debut. It was only sort of 20 minutes or so that he was on the pitch, but he was really sprightly. He was there. He was eager. And also you can already see his technical ability, but he didn't have too much to do in that short space of time. And I think that if Nuno can work with him in the way that we know he can, I don't see him as a bench warmer. He'll be in our starting 11. He has to be, because he's got so much ability, and he's got that technical nous that maybe we're missing on that side of the pitch. So maybe maybe if he impressed enough today, maybe he's a starter.
I think he did.
I think, but yeah.
Yeah, and I think during the broadcast, the commentators were talking about, like, they're like, one time he was dubbed the tall Iniesta.
Yeah, well, and they also said, I didn't realize
what taller Iniesta.
He's a little. Well, no, but yeah, they'd say that. But even before that comment, when he came on the field, the first thing the commentator said was, I haven't seen him play that much, but I'll say this: he's a lot bigger than I thought.
Yeah,
I thought he was. Yeah, he's 6'2". He's not his dad. His dad was like 5'10". He's a big boy. Like I was telling everybody, he's not going to get pushed off the ball. He's not going to be falling down on the ground. Like, that's just not going to happen. He's a big boy, and he's not a stick either.
Yeah,
like he's a muscular kid. So
unless the tackles are massively, hard tackles,
brutal.
He's always. I mean, even with Dortmund, whenever he was playing physical, I mean, he was always able to shield off the player, knock him over, or move around him without necessarily getting clobbered over. And it's going to show in the EPL.
Yeah.
So,
and I'm sorry if you think we're slobber knocking fucking Reyna, but I'm sorry. my eye test tells me something. It sets off alarms in my head, and it always has with Reyna. Like when I watched Pulisic, I had a little bell go off going, this guy's going to be an asset for the U.S. men's national team. He's quick. He's fast. He's, all the things that we need in a good winger. But this kind of player we have never had before. The closest thing we have to Gio Reyna right now is Malik Tillman. And he's not even – Malik Tillman's a grade level below. Like, if Reyna's an A+ to the eye test, Tillman's like an A-, all right, or a B+. Like, he's not even in the same league eye test-wise as far as overall technical ability. He's not far off because there's not much difference between an A+ and an A-, but still, we're talking, 2 levels down from an A+. So we'll see what happens. It's positive. It's certainly positive. Again, he's no Mihailovic. He's no shrinking tulip. This guy is going to go out there and ball. He's going to try to ball. Now, only thing you can worry about is maybe he tries to do too much, but he's too smart for that. He knows, no, this is not the right opportunity, but he is going to take some chances. He is going to try to make opportunities, and he's got the skills to do it. So he will go past players.
And there are a number of fans, at least on Twitter, and I'm not sure if they're American or England at that point, but we're talking about putting having Reyna in the middle and pushing White out wide. You
could do that. Gibbs White is not going to be happy about that. But,
although with Odoi being injured, I'm not sure how serious his injury is. I haven't seen any reports on it. You could play ultimately with. You could ultimately play with both White and Reyna underneath their striker, and then play kind of a.
You could, but that's not going to happen with Forest, though.
Fair.
They're only going to play one player underneath the striker at the CAM spot. So I don't mind Reyna playing out left as long as he's given, and it looks like he has been given, the thumbs up to drift in when necessary and go where the play is. Go where the ball is. And so if he's given that thumbs up, he won't be anywhere. He'll be a pinched in left winger. And that's fine. I think he'll do fine in that. As long as he doesn't get boxed in over there too far. Like when he did it with Dortmund, the one time he started as a left winger and was stuck out left and he was obviously told not to pinch in, to be an outlet he got totally taken out of the game. There was always 3 guys in front of him whenever he got the ball. So give him some license to maneuver, and I think Nuno knows this player really well. Nuno's no dummy. He's a really good coach, by the way. And like I already said, he should never have been let go by Wolves. That was stupid on their part. So he's got the right coach, and Nuno's the kind of guy who wants to do more with Nottingham Forest. He wants to eventually transform this team. He's not going to park the bus. It's just not what Nuno does. He's just not going to do it. So we'll see what happens. But if you want to call it promising, a positive start for Reyna, over 20 minutes in the Premier League.
Yep.
All right. We will be back on Thursday.
Tack coming on Thursday.
Tack will be back on Thursday. I would avoid Wiener Cutoff Road if at all possible, if you can do that. And maybe
the intersection is Wiener Cutoff and Lorena Bobbitt.
Lorena Bobbitt
way.
That is such an old reference. Lorena Bobbitt way. Yeah, that I wonder if anybody's going to get that at all, because it's such.
Hey, you know what? Our chat, again, looking at the analytics, our chat is like 40% between 24 and 35. So I'd imagine some might get the reference.
Hopefully so. But if you are ever near Wiener Cutoff Road, veer off, and especially do not veer off on Lorena Bobbitt Way, but veer off somewhere safer before you take your stepsister out on a date or wherever you're going to park and smooch it out. Do not stop on Wiener Cutoff Road. All right. Until the next time on the Straight Red Card, we will see you Thursday. Goodbye. We love you.
She's a trap, she's an unsung novel, turn a lap and get your whole world dazzled on the line. or a phone call with or without one.
That hurt.
Then what is this thing?
Gio should never play for U.S. men's national team again because of the action of his parents.
What an idiot! Oh!
What type of Muppet does this?
Muppets. Absolute Muppets.
I'm not going to be the best person to give a whole explanation here, but that's...
Booty, booty! Sick, sick! Booty, booty!